Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to another Creation Science Theater. I'm your host, Doc Dino, accompanied by the lovely Bree.
Hello.
And Mrs. Dino is silently sitting next to me doing something on her tablet, probably drawing. I don't know.
Prepping for taxes.
Oh, yeah, taxes.
Taxes. Yuck.
Yeah, doesn't sound like
Much,
she's happy about it.
I'd much rather be drawing. So how how are you? So tonight, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna try to convince me that birds are dinosaurs, right? That's what we're talking about. And I'm gonna be a total fadouche. I'm gonna be a total fadouche bag and be like, nah, they're not.
I mean, hey, that's good, but please don't.
Don't be a fadouche bag.
Yeah, please don't. I don't even know if he still holds to birds not being dinosaurs, honestly.
I think
I've heard his thoughts in the last decade.
I think he's carved out the entirety of Maniraptora now as a distinct from dinosaurs in his worldview.
Is he?
Which would include some of our favorite dromaeosaurs, right? And some of the big ones too. That would be
dear.
So in that phylogeny, I guess, what would be the biggest bird in that phylogeny?
If we're including all Maniraptora?
Yeah.
I think therizinosaurs are included in that group.
Yeah, and they're huge, like elephant-sized, right? Like 5 or 6 times.
A little bigger for therizinosaurus.
Yeah. Oh, they're bigger than 6 times?
Actually, I don't know the mass estimates. I know they're at least taller and longer.
Yeah. So
let me see. Sad thing is, for therizinosaurus, we don't have too much of the skeleton.
A lot of big old dagger claws, though, right?
Yeah. Looks like mass estimate is 5.5 tons. So
I was
about elephant size.
I nailed it. Give me props. Come on.
Yeah,
5 times.
Close.
I said 5 to 6. It was 5.5. I don't think I could have got more bullseye than that. But that's maximum size too, because there's multiple species of therizinosaurs. Everybody always just worries about the biggest species, but some of the smaller species have charismatic features too that would make them really stand out.
There's a lot of neat therizinosaurids. They're a pretty interesting group.
Yeah, that's my response to like ground sloths too. It's like everybody just wants to talk about Megatherium. It's like, oh, there's so many cooler ones. Just because that's the biggest one doesn't mean it's the coolest. Some of them were aquatic or marine even. I'm gonna get off on a tangent now. If you don't get me back on dinosaurs and birds, I'm thinking about sloths.
I mean, hey, aquatic sloths are cool. Are we sure that any of them were fully aquatic?
Yeah, there's a marine sloth. Let's see, marine sloth. The last aquatic. It's semi-aquatic. Yeah, no, not fully aquatic. No, not where they don't leave the water at all. Like more like a seal, or no, more like a sea lion than a seal, I'd say. But eating and grazing like a manatee. So do with that what you will.
All right, and then there's also Gigantoraptor, which is just too big.
Why do they call it semi-aquatic instead of marine, though? Semi-marine. I don't know. Gigantoraptor.
Yeah, I guess because marine is more so just, well, it's specifically for the ocean, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, that's where these sloths thrived at. Well, in the Gulf of Mexico, right?
Maybe. But yeah, there's also this giant Maniraptoran, and
cock of the rock right there.
Terrifying.
Yeah, you don't see that come bobbing at you out of the woods.
Like, just imagine a cassowary, but 12 to 15 feet tall.
Yeah, about what,
And,
2 times, right?
and actually, another dinosaur that got a really good, like, looks really good in
Mhm.
Jurassic World Evolution, oddly enough.
Yeah. Is this that model?
No. Let me pull up the actual model. It actually looks pretty.
I like the fantail on this one. How it like uh lobes, has two lobes on the end. I don't know if you call them lobes or not, but yeah. Looks like a
Bronze,
goose,
maybe.
says Al Trucker. I could see that. I could see a goose. I think it looks more like I thought it was like a cock, but like a rooster. At least parts of its waddles and stuff. But that's very much cassowary like too. I think they probably used the cassowary as a model.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I love how they look in the game though, and
Yeah.
they can kill large carnivores.
Do they do it with their legs or their beaks?
Uh, so for the large carnivore kill, they like kick it in the face and then
Oh,
stomp on its head after it falls over.
so definitely cassowary style then.
Yeah. Here, actually, this is the thumbnail for a video, I guess, that shows it. Uh,
Got a kick in the head.
it. So I guess this was uploaded by Crowasaurus if anyone wants to check it out. I'll just
Yeah, let's watch the animation though.
so they fight, they go back and forth.
What's that Tyrannosaur it's fighting?
Tarbosaurus.
Oh,
Come on.
we don't actually see spines like that on Tarbosaurus though, do we?
No, it's a
Artistic
oh,
licensing.
here it is.
Gotcha. There we go.
So just it kicks it as it charges and then stomps on the head. It's
Yeah,
great.
which is exactly what a cassowary would do, right? Kick, stomp,
Yeah.
done.
The thing is,
Kick.
this thing weighs like 3 tons.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. Oh, and it's also an omnivore.
So it's going to eat a Tarbosaur.
Ooh, actually,
Yeah.
fun question. I don't think we have evidence for a crest in Gigantoraptor. It's inferred from a related Oviraptorosaur named Anzu. At least as far as I know, it's inferred.
Yeah, but when it comes to head crest, even within the same genus, for extant dinosaurs, extant theropods, extant nanoraptors, they're very
Mhm.
there's a lot of variety on shape and form and function, and just within a single genus. So it could have
Yeah.
had a big horn on its head that was
Mhm.
keratin, like a
Yeah.
hornbill.
Wikipedia has a pretty good drawing of the material we have. From what I've heard,
That lower
the
jaw's like a bolt
skeleton.
cutter.
Yeah, but from what I've heard, the skeleton was eroding kind of head and back first out of a hillside. That's why a lot of the vertebrae are like
One
grinded in
off.
half, and we only have the lower jaw. But we have enough to tell how big it was, and it
Yeah,
was
I mean,
big.
you got from the hip down on the leg, it was you guys that's those bones that you need to tell how big a dinosaur was, as those hip bones and leg bones. That's the weight bearing area. So you
Yeah.
said 3 tons. I thought it was more like 2 tons, but yeah, that's bigger than I
Oh,
thought.
not sure off the top of my head. That was just an off the dome guess.
I was just and I'm speculating too, just based on the material.
Uh,
I didn't actually look at the weight of it. I've looked at the.
so this is Wikipedia again. 2.2 metric tons.
I'm really good at this. It's good. Just looking at their leg bones, you can tell how big an animal is, how much it weighs, right? If you, or you can guess how much it weighs. I have to do it
Although
in tons,
that
though.
said, there is a
2.3 is
different
best estimate.
estimate for 2.3
Yeah.
from the leg dimensions, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Still big.
Massive. Absolutely
Yeah.
massive. Two tons. That's a small truck or a.
Yeah. Sorry, but try again, Caden. It's a 16-foot turkey.
Yeah. This one's more like a turkey than the Velociraptor is, though.
Yeah.
Definitely in form and an ecological niche.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure what they ate. Seems like probably omnivores or generalist herbivores.
Yeah. Maybe something like just that jaw makes me think it was cut into something tough. So maybe
their heads
breaking
are
open carcasses.
so screwed up.
They could break open carcasses, right? But with those jaws.
Like, as someone who studies anatomy, the heads of these things are unbelievably screwed up.
Well, they'd probably say the same thing about our heads, though. They'd be like, "Look at these weird humans with their weird heads. Their jaw doesn't even go back to their neck. Your jaw is supposed to go."
I'm going by vertebrate standards as a whole, or even within just dinosaurs. Like, this is a mess.
It's like a pug. It's like a pug, like what they did to a dog. Smashing
Actually,
its face.
yes. Like, it's blunt, it's screwed up, it has this massive over-engineered jaw, and then, like, the center of the skull is just paper mache strips. It's so weird.
Yeah, it was eating with that front with the front part of the top jaw. That's all that was involved in the mastication process right there. And then the bottom jaw did all the cutting. That heavy bottom jaw did the cutting.
Like, the weird thing is, they have this, like, reinforced spike of bone in the roof of their mouth. Like, paleontologists that work on Oviraptorosaurs call it the stalactite. Just
what is
hanging from the top of the mouth.
Do you know anything about its function or anything?
Maybe to crack things? Who knows?
Yeah. What if it ate nuts?
That is a distinct possibility.
Because you think about the birds with the bolt cutter beaks, they're eating like nuts and hard fruit and things and stone fruits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think of parrots are a good example that have a beak that looks very similar to this, and what they eat, seeds, nuts, and fruit.
Yeah, you can see here. That's not a tooth. I think that's the stalactite right there.
That's the nutcracker. The can opener. I don't know. They have a can opener. They could spin something in their mouth and have that stuck into the side of it, like spin it with their beak. Nice clean cut.
So, sorry, we have
citation
a citation needed, and I like to provide my sources. Just a sec.
What are we for the omnivory, or?
I'm guessing for the stalactite. So I hate, citing a YouTube video because, you
cite papers.
Video.
But any good YouTuber that's covering science will have the papers linked. I say that, and I always forget to link the papers I'm referring to in the video. But usually I'll bring them up on screen so you can see what they're called.
Fair. Let me see. I can link the specific time. So I'm a big fan of this YouTube channel run by a group of paleontologists. They're currently working their way through like the dinosaurs in a video game. Jurassic World Evolution, actually. Like, they're talking about the designs, and in the video I just sent, they're going over a bunch of dinosaurs in the DLC, which is what Gigantoraptor is from in the game. They start talking about it an hour and 36 minutes into the video. The
You
reference to the
timestamped it, though.
stalactite is in there. Yes. Now,
From
that
the
said,
skeleton crew.
asterisk, yes, they are fabulous. I love them. Please, if you like dinos, go check them out. That said, they might have also mentioned it in the video they did about Oviraptor when they did Oviraptor, which I am sending now. So, again, sorry for citing YouTube videos. They make long videos, but it's somewhere in there. I am sorry. Oh, also, we have a based theory in the house.
Hey, Grayson.
Yo. Hey Bree, hey Doc. Yeah, I watched this this AIG video a couple days ago when it came out, and yeah, it needs to things need to be said about it.
Well, I'm glad
Just
you come to join us. I'm
Yeah,
distracting Doc by looking into giant oviraptorans.
Oh, I see. I only missed the first second of the video.
Yeah, we haven't even, because we have models here on the desk, right? And I guess you're talking about the anatomy of the bird-like anatomy of some of the other Maniraptorans, right?
No, later on they try to make the point that they're actually the same skeleton, just arranged in different postures. One more bird-like and one more dinosaur-like.
Oh, well,
they go into a lot. But with that said, we've seen this T-Rex before in their videos. This poor T-Rex. Oh well.
Why is his head so small? Why is his head so small?
That's one of the first things to notice.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the guy in.
No, I'm talking about the Tyrannosaur. Tyrannosaurs have big heads. That's one of the things that the characteristics about it. They have giant heads. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna shame anybody's appearance. So I'm not. If I did think he had a small head, I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
I like his North Face jacket. I'll say that it's very stylish.
Sorry, that reminds me. I am gonna have subtitles on because I forget her name, but she has a very thick accent, and it was hard for me to understand her sometimes.
She is one of AIG's PhD paleontologists, right?
Yes,
that's what she says. I haven't looked her up yet.
She's Georgia's protege or whatever.
Let it play so we can get her name, and then I'll look her up a little bit.
All right.
We are now told by evolutionists that birds are dinosaurs.
Thanks to science, we know our planet is home to 10,000 or so species of living dinosaurs. We just call them birds.
One evolutionist even said a penguin is just as much a terrible lizard as a stegosaur. So what's going on, Joe? Hi, everyone. I'm Gabriela Haynes.
Gabriela Haynes. And I am interested in that quote as well. Wait, why can I? Oh, I can click and drag the subtitles?
When did they add that feature in? Holy crud. Can you make them smaller and put it right between their heads? Just make it a little bit smaller right between their melons?
I don't know if I can do that, but I can.
I think his head is small enough that it'll fit.
There's just enough space.
Attack the arguments, Grayson. Come on.
All right, and let's just get his
name. I'm a PhD paleontology here at Answers in Genesis.
I'm Joel Lineweber.
Okay, so Gabriela Haynes and Joel Lineweber.
Lineweber.
Paleo artist.
Paleo artist. All right, I'm going to look up his art and I'll judge his art.
So she earned a PhD in geology/paleontology from the Federal University of Ceará State in Brazil in conjunction with the University of Kentucky. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I'm going to see if we can maybe find her thesis.
Bit odd.
I found the quote too. So
Oh,
it's from
what's it from?
Smithsonian Magazine. So pop article says, given that birds are the only dinosaurs that remain, experts often specify whether they're talking about non-avian or avian dinosaurs. All the same, a penguin is just as much a terrible lizard as a stegosaurus. And let me see who wrote this article. Author. Riley Black, who is a freelance science writer specializing in evolution, paleontology, and natural history. So nothing specifically saying she's like anti-religious or anything. She looks like most of the stuff she writes about is dinosaur stuff, though, like cutesy articles.
Okay. And
For
I mean, nothing
young
against
folks.
her. Like, it's a fair statement.
Yeah.
I was just curious where it came
Yeah,
from.
I mean, it's true because the word dinosaur is terrible lizard, and penguins are in Dinosauria, so they're terrible lizards.
Yep.
It's not that
And
complicated. A Basilosaurus is a lizard too by name, and it's not a lizard at all. So
True.
This is super weird. I tried to find her thesis, and this has got to be a different Gabriella Haynes. I feel like there's no way that this could be her thesis. But this is
tell me this is oh goodness. Tell me this is dinosaurs and stuff getting on the ark.
no, it has absolutely nothing to do with dinosaurs. That's why I think I must have gotten the wrong Gabriella
Bree's
Haynes.
referring to the thing I'm showing on the
screen right now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. I found Joe's
wood
I don't
carved.
know, dribble. I mean, it's a neat mug.
It is. It's really cool, actually. But I mean, it's. I wouldn't mind having it.
Anyway,
I wouldn't use it to drink.
Then, Grayson.
Let's go ahead with that thesis. What's the title?
I'll read the first sentence or two. This thesis is an examination of the way that spaces considered marginal by settler society reflect and embody the construction and contention of race over time. Like, this cannot be the same Gabriella Haynes.
Sorry, space and what?
Yeah, it's
That-
finding
the beginning of
subversive
that sounded
spaces
like a
in the
physics
Pioneer
thing.
Valley, 1860 to 2010s. Like, there's no way. So I'm going to try to find maybe a different Gabriella Haynes thesis.
Let me see if I can find her alma mater for you. That might help pin it down.
Federal University of Ceará State in Brazil.
Yep. Okay. You already found it. Sorry.
And while you're doing
To
that,
assume.
this is Joel's only other relevant piece of art that I can find, which is kind of an odd perspective on a brontosaurus, I guess.
How did he even end up at AIG? For this?
Brontosaurus.
I don't like. He says he's a paleo artist. He has 2 pieces of paleo art, at least on this website.
Does brontosauruses have the dome on the top of their head like that? I thought they were flathead like the diplodocus.
You could see it from certain angles.
Okay.
Oh, he does have a Pinterest. Let's see what he has on his Pinterest.
That might not be his art, though.
Oh, he hasn't created anything. He has a Twitter. I'm kind of scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sign in as Dr. Deino. Blah blah blah.
Okay, so Answers in Genesis claims that her PhD focus was on invertebrate fossils from the Santana Formation in Brazil. See if I can track that down. It says that she used to accept the evolutionary worldview until she studied evidence that supported creation.
Okay.
So it looks like he has like a comic book style art pieces called Dribble. But it doesn't look like a lot of paleo art. Here, you want me to share?
Yeah. That's what I was just looking at before.
Oh, okay. So you saw that weird T-Rex that he had?
I didn't see a weird T-Rex, no.
Yeah, here, let me see.
Oh, I found Gabriella previously did an article on Archaeopteryx, which she'll probably tie into this.
Oh, that's not his art, though. It's a collection of art he's looked at. I see. I get you.
Hmm. Okay, so it looks like he draws like figures and stuff for for AIG.
Should we let the video play a little bit? And
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh, I agree with Andrew. The Brontosaurus looked AI generated. Or sorry, that was Caden. But I do agree with Andrew. It looked bad.
And we're here at the Allosaurus exhibit in the Creation Museum. We see feathered dinosaurs everywhere nowadays in books, in toys, and movies like this feathered Pyroraptor in Jurassic World.
Pyroraptor definitely had feathers. I mean, that's
Yeah, I agree. Sadly, I don't think it looked anything like it did in Jurassic
No.
World Dominion.
a lot smaller, wasn't it?
Yes, way smaller. I think about Velociraptor sized.
We made it 42 seconds, Grayson. Look at that.
we just made it like 5 seconds in one go.
All right.
The account of history in God's Word, the Bible. And we're going to discuss whether the idea of feathered dinosaurs
A good documentary.
is reasonable to believe in a biblical worldview.
The Bible says that the winged fowl were created on day 5, and the land animals like reptiles, dinosaurs on day 6. This is the opposite order from what evolutionists claim. It's clear from scripture that animals reproduce after their kind. So, we know that God did not use evolution to make birds evolve from dinosaurs.
Birds are
Except-
dinosaurs.
So she just claimed that the Bible says that dinosaurs were created on day 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're
Just checking.
landing.
Just checking. I'm unfamiliar with that part of the Bible.
She's making some truth claims, right?
Actually, I'd be really curious. What do they think? Like, when were ostriches made? Would they be a day 5 or day 6?
Right.
Well,
Or
later on in
penguins?
the video, they claim that anything that has feathers is a bird. So that's day
So
5.
Grayson, spoilers.
penguins probably make the cut just of being flying because they're in the water, though. But they go on land too.
Maybe.
Penguins are, yeah.
Or would they be a creature of the ocean?
Right. Did they have a place on the ark, or were they safe at sea? I've seen penguins on the ark before. I've seen reconstructions of penguins, and I don't see any reason why, if they could didn't have whales on the ark, they would have to have penguins on the ark.
Be curious to know what their answer was. And see how they flounder over it.
But well, can we accept the idea of feathered dinosaurs without accepting evolutionary ideas?
Feathered dinosaurs like this Pyroraptor from the Jurassic World have become a poster child for this topic.
So ugly.
And many people believe there's good science to back up these claims.
The idea that dinosaurs like Velociraptor were fully feathered is no longer at all
There's my
controversial.
boy Darren Nash.
Even some creationists claim that
check out Tetrapod Zoology blog.
Tetzu on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. If I recall, he co-authored a YouTube series with Aaron Raw, I think, about why birds are dinosaurs.
Yeah, and he will interact with you on social media too. He's like a very down to earth person. He'll talk to you about, especially about cryptozoology, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to him personally, but everything I've heard about him's been positive.
I'm
and
reading
that your
Gabriella
worldview has little
Haynes's
influence
article.
over these interpretations.
Sorry.
Like right when I started talking. I'm reading
Yeah.
about Gabriella Haynes's article that she has about like her work on the Santana fossils or something. And I previously they claimed that she used to accept evolution until she studied the evidence, but like here she's talking about one of her very first assignments in her undergrad in college was like involved like the Santana fossils because they were famous in Brazil. And she's describing her professor talking about them, and he keeps saying their age is around 120 million years old. He believed in evolution and of years, but at the same time, like she doesn't accept that. Like, so she's already rejected evolution in her first year of undergrad. So like I'm curious about like they were claiming that she accepted evolution until she studied the evidence, but I guess she studied the evidence as a child.
Oh, that was the Santana
The Santana
fossils.
Formation, yeah. It's like apparently famous for the level of like fine detail preserved for like a mix of like different creatures
Oh,
like dinosaurs, pterosaurs, fish, insects. Um,
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I knew it by the Romualdo formation. I guess that's is that a part of it? Yeah, the Romualdo.
but she's
Very, very
basically
famous
saying that
source.
because these fossils are preserved in such fine detail, then they couldn't have been millions of years old. Like that's
The-
her main thing, it seems like.
but the Santana formation is like it is actually exceptional. Like it's what in paleontology is called a Lagerstätte.
Yep.
Uh, Basically means a place of deposit. They can be either exceptionally well preserved fossils or just a ton of fossils or both. And I believe this formation is both. It's where we get a ton of beautiful pterosaurs and fish and birds. Like gorgeous stuff.
Yeah, our best Archaeopteryx are from Lagerstätten, not from that formation, but just that
Mhm.
type of fossilization process. And the Burgess Shale, the famous Burgess Shale, where we have all the Cambrian life. That's an ancient Lagerstätten,
Yeah.
or what they call a
And
compression fossil. Yeah.
and here just for you, Bree, looks like we have a little
Mhm.
cricket
Oh, that's so cute. Is that a Cretaceous cricket?
from one of the member formations of the
Is this one of the
Santana.
ones
Yeah.
that Gabrielle is going to be like? Gabrielle is going to be like, it hasn't changed from modern crickets, and we'll have to go in and like measure the body parts to be like, oh, look at
Probably.
all this.
Like it. Like you can even see the antennae. Like, oh,
Yeah,
gorgeous.
Like,
some
yeah,
of slightly thicker than a hair.
I don't think there was ever a point where Gabriella Haynes accepted evolution. I mean, she's like literally talking about like her first year of undergrad saying like, sadly, simply because I was a Christian who believed in creation, I couldn't openly speak about my perspective. But now that I have finished my doctorate program, I can and will.
Which, as Sydney points out, that's something that kind of happens to some or with some creationists
Yeah,
that go to university to. Yeah.
her main argument is literally that the fine details preserved in the Santana fossils are amazing evidence of the Genesis flood. So they
Of
can't
course.
possibly have been formed. They can't possibly be millions of years old because they're too detailed, and only apparently a worldwide global flood could do that. So that's what she wrote her
Because that
thesis
would be the
about.
most gentle form, like fossil forming method.
Yeah, only a worldwide flood where it's all turbulent and oceans are cracking open and letting out boiling hot water and highly pressurized boiling hot water from the what are those layers called? Ah, dang it.
See, Bree, you don't understand that the fountains of the deep were actually incredibly gentle.
But Nephilim Free told me they blasted the moon.
Gently.
Yes, they were gentle and
they
gently blasted. The
Oh, it was
moon.
like it was more like a bidet than a super soaker. I get ya.
Here, they were gentle until the rock reached the upper atmosphere and then shot it out like a cannon.
Yeah. We should look for Noah's Ark on the moon. Maybe that's why we haven't found it.
Oh, you're cooking.
No.
Yes, someone get Mud Fossils University on this. Let's turn our eyes towards the skies, people.
The Artemis mission is about to find a lot more than they bargained for.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What would you do if they
Oh.
found like a dead camel up there, like just laying there, just like a
Just on the moon?
just a mummified camel on the moon?
I would have a lot of questions. But probably first I would ask if the Russians did anything.
Yeah. The last people there was India, right? So
Yeah, I think so.
if there's any shenanigans going on.
Also, thank you, Jake. I like that. If you want to throw money at me, like and subscribe, I guess. We'll get there eventually.
There's, I mean, by the Nephilim Free theory, there should be tons of animal corpses on the moon. I'm just saying.
Oh, right. Didn't Japan land on the moon recently?
Japan did?
We are way off
Japan.
topic.
Oh, yeah, but you know.
You know who never
interesting.
landed on the moon? Velociraptors.
That we know
Well,
of.
you don't have any proof of that.
Yeah. Well, we have we brought birds into space? We've brought dinosaurs into space.
I know we've brought birds into space. I'm not sure how well they survived, but we did.
You should do a show called Dinosaurs in Space and talk about it.
Maybe I can find something. Maybe I can finally cover flat Earth. That would be good for it.
Yeah.
And,
We're only a minute and a half into this sucker.
Yeah, sorry, just to cinch that, I guess. India landed on the moon last year, and Japan apparently just landed on the moon last month. I didn't know about that.
I did not know about that. Oh my gosh. Go Japan. Moving on up.
Oh, yeah, and also there has been a non-avian dinosaur in space too. They took up a Maiasaura vertebra.
Even some creationists claim that your worldview has little influence over these interpretations. But let's examine the claims. How much movie-making magic is going on related to this topic?
Well, Pyraptor is not a good example at all because it did not look like that. It was like a size of a turkey with only few bones found, as you can see, and the bones were not even connected, articulated.
Yeah, Pyroraptor is complicated. We have enough material to know there was a dromaeosaur there, but sadly, I don't know, it might be overturned in the future. I'm not sure how diagnostic all the material is, honestly.
I mean, this is so far the only good point that Gabriella Haynes has brought up, and it's specifically because they're ragging on Jurassic World.
Yeah. Though that said, it actually has a very interesting history to its name. So, before I say the history to its name, its full name is Pyroraptor olympius. What do you two think that might refer to?
The fire part probably refers to the feathery fossilization on down its back, right? Looks like flames.
Well, it translates to fire thief, yeah, and then Olympius is the species name.
Fire thief of Olympus. Fire
Mhm.
thief, the god. Is it Prometheus, I guess.
Yeah. See, that's what I thought for years until last year when I learned no, it has nothing to do with that at all. It was named Pyroraptor because it was found after a huge forest fire, and it was found at the foot of Mount Olympe in France. It's a complete coincidence that had me thrown for years.
Wow, I'm taken aback.
Well, okay, to be fair, I thought it was, a reference to Prometheus for over a decade, but so it blew my mind.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that's why it was named that too. I thought it was because the fossil had the fossil had feathers. I guess it didn't though. Am I mistaken about that? I'm
don't
okay
think
with being
so.
wrong. I just
Yeah, but that said, was it feathered? Yeah.
Related to each other.
Pyroraptor wasn't found with any feather impressions. Evolutionists think that it may have had
okay.
feathers.
There we go.
Some scientists claim
Okay.
Well, okay. We have direct and skeletal. We have direct evidence of feathers and a lot of other dromaeosaurs, not including birds, like full on raptor dinosaurs. And we have indirect evidence of it in even more. So
Oh, boy.
if Pyroraptor did not have feathers, it would be a huge exception to a major rule.
that Archaeopteryx, that famous animal always known as a bird, well, now they're saying that it was a feather dinosaur.
Oh, you mean this guy?
Yep.
This is a replica of what might be the world's most famous fossil. But is this a dinosaur or a bird? And how do we tell the difference between birds and dinosaurs? We're going to show you 3 ways to tell the difference between a bird and a dinosaur that even a kid can understand. But first, evolutionists are saying some surprising things that are different from what scientists used to believe. So let's talk about how we got here.
The point
Science changes its mind. How terrible.
is, evolutionists have been changing the definitions of words. They have been changing their meaning. And that's a big problem because they're not changing those definitions. They're not changing those meanings because the data has changed. They're changing those definitions to better match, to better fit their evolutionary worldview.
We don't see evolution.
That's what you're supposed to do is match the terminology to the evidence, not the evidence to the terminology. Good grief.
Well, see, I just want to say she got that completely backwards. The new evidence changed the definitions in paleontology. We did what you want us to do, lady. We did. Don't say we didn't. For near, if not over near a century, it was the consensus of the paleontological field that no dinosaurs had feathers. And then, we found Deinonychus, and it was a big wake-up call that caused us to second guess a lot of things. And it just kind of snowballed from there. We can track every single change we have made to the definitions of bird and dinosaur. It's very well understood.
Evolution happening today. We don't see one kind of creature changing into another kind. We also don't find that in the fossil record. That's an assumption on the part of the evolutionary worldview. Evolutionists have been changing the meanings of words like dinosaur, bird, and feather to match their assumptions that dinosaurs evolved into birds. They're using this new speak to build a bird evolution house of cards.
So
New speak.
Huxley proposed that birds were dinosaurs way the hell back in 1869. What do they mean? Just keep changing our terms. This has been like
So
hypothesis for it was a hypothesis for decades, and then it was a fossil. Sorry, I started rambling as soon as you paused. Go
no,
ahead.
you're fine. So yeah, Thomas Huxley, all the way back in the 1800s, looked at Archaeopteryx, looked at other dinosaurs, and said, "Yeah, these belong to the same group, and one probably evolved from the other." Darwin first proposed it, but Huxley was very vocal about it, I guess you could say. There's a reason why people call him Darwin's bulldog. He was very vocal. Sadly, it was not the consensus of the field until nearly a century later. Turns out 18th and early 19th century science had some problems that we only really started dealing with in the 70s and 80s, and some we're still struggling with a bit today, sadly.
I would just love to hear these two try and bend over backwards to explain why, in their worldview, reptiles like crocodilians are more genetically similar to birds than they are to any other reptiles like lizards, snakes, or turtles. I would just love to hear their explanation for that. If you're just changing the definitions of words now, and it's like, no, there's some really, really good genetic evidence for the bird evolution and like common ancestry among the archosaurs.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just genetics. Like, the crocodile body plan is more similar to many dinosaurs than any other reptile. They have a lot of shared characteristics that no other reptile has.
And it's not just
There's a
like they
lot.
said, oh, it's just your interpretation of fossils that you find. Like, no, like these transitional fossils were literally predicted before they were discovered. Like, how can they possibly explain that predictive power?
You know, at the start of the 20th century, there could have been arguments made that, hey, there wasn't enough time for birds to evolve into dinosaurs, because dinosaurs, they went extinct about 22,000 or 22 million years ago. That was before, you know, we recalculated and got things more figured out. They used to think that the dinosaurs were around until about 22,000 or 22 million years ago. So at that point, yeah, you can make an argument that the diversification just couldn't happen in that short of amount of a time, which I don't know if that's true or not, but now we know today, you know, 65
They made this
million
video
years.
last week, Bree.
Yeah, no, yeah, and they didn't think that was decades ago when was the iridium layer discovered that gave us kind of the more definitive date? Even before that, though, we had
Iridium
honed it in.
layer
We had
for
honed it in
the
a
end of
little
the
bit.
Cretaceous.
Yeah. When was that?
It'd been known about for a while. I'm not sure when it was first dated.
Yeah. The Cretaceous boundary.
That's a fascinating, unbelievable coincidence, quirk of the universe I love to point out whenever I can. On the Origin of Species, published November 24th, 1859. The London specimen of Archaeopteryx, found in 1861. Like 2 years after On the Origin of Species, one of the specific transitions that Darwin predicted appeared. I love when the universe works its mysterious ways for good. Oh, Al says his arms are tired. You drive a bunch today, bud? And also,
maybe he just flew in.
Maybe. A bit ago, Caden brought up that when Archaeopteryx was first discovered, Many scientists thought it was similar to Compsognathus from the same time and place. That's true. Not only is that true, there was a specimen of Archaeopteryx that for a long time was mislabeled as Compsognathus because the specimen didn't have any feathers preserved. Without feathers, they couldn't tell the difference, at least not for a while. It's also really, really cool.
Cards. This house of cards is required for the idea of feathered dinosaurs to stand up to scrutiny.
Now we're going to talk about 3 words in this episode. The first word that we're going to be talking about is the word dinosaur or dinosauria. The meaning of this word, the meaning of what a dinosaur is, has changed. For example, Richard Owen.
And Sydney asks, are they the compies in Jurassic Park? In the movies, yes. In the books, no. In the books, they're called Procompsognathus, which was I believe, an earlier, smaller relative. But in the movies, I think they are just Compsognathus. Yeah.
I want to correct myself because I looked up this date. Because it was Lord Kelvin that I was quoting about they used to think it was 20 million years old, but that wasn't until 1862, which is after. When did you say the Archaeopteryx was found? Your
61.
citation. Okay. Oh wow. A year before. So I don't know how old they thought Archaeopteryx was because Lord Kelvin hadn't even proposed the 20 million yet. So they probably thought it was younger than 20 million at that point. I'm not sure.
I don't know what initial ages were.
This is my side quest, is to find out how old Darwin and Huxley thought the universe was. So carry on.
Yeah. You're fine. You're fine. Oh, and Procompsognathus was a coelophysid. I didn't know that. I haven't looked them up in a few years. I wouldn't be surprised if my info is a bit outdated. Oh, Andrew, what an odd prediction. I wonder if it'll come true.
1842 was the first one to coin this word and its meaning, which is basically related to what a reptile is. The first change for the term dinosauria.
That weird way to phrase that? Because
was proposed in 1992, and it was based on phylogenetic cladistics ideas. That is,
wait, sorry,
what a reptile is. The first change for the term dinosauria was proposed in 1992, and it was based on phylogenetic cladistics ideas. That is, the main background for this.
Oh wow, so she didn't explain what dinosaur means.
Terrible
catch that.
Lizard. That proves that they're lizards, Doc. They can't be birds. It doesn't say it's not Dino ornith. Wait.
Apparently Darwin himself estimated, based on like erosion and sedimentation rates in Sussex, that the age of the Sussex countryside had to be at least 300 million years.
Darwin did.
He later backpedaled and reduced that in the face of criticism of that idea.
Because John Jolly was leading the way back then. It looks like in 1850s, his proposal was 80 to 90. That was before Lord Kelvin, but yeah, that's Lord Kelvin. So he kind of set the precedent for a while there with his 20 to 400 million. But that's not too bad to 400 million, because that takes you at least back to the Paleozoic, right? So
I wonder what the actual age of those rock layers is.
Because that would have had to count he would have been using Cambridge, probably Cambridge. It's Lord Kelvin, so yeah, probably Cambridge rocks to date that. I would speculate. Anyway,
I don't know. Also, I got a sound notification that someone joined, but there's no one here, so I wonder if they just poofed. Weird.
That's interesting that Darwin was trying to date the Are trying to speculate on the dates too, and he got criticized for it. Darwin got criticized for everything.
Oh, I mean, which is fair. That happens a lot in science, but he was probably inspired by, I think it was Lyell. If I
Yeah.
recall correctly, Darwin was a big fan of Lyell's work, and Lyell had previously tried to figure out the age of the Earth with sedimentation rates.
It
I
looks like
think he-
there's
ahead.
some formations in Sussex from like the Cretaceous. So he
Mhm.
was off pretty substantially, but you know, closer than Kelvin maybe.
Yeah, he could have went to Cambridge. Yeah, I don't know.
But let's see this definition here. They say, or this whatever. Yeah, they just say the relationships and diagnosis of dinosaurs has been altered via cladistic studies. Yes, science changes according to new evidence. That's what it does. We learn a new method and we incorporate it into what we know. Helps with a lot of things.
That was
This
AJ
change-
popping in. JJ popped in and found out I was here and left because AJ hates me.
Oh,
Why don't you love me,
the idea that
AJ?
organisms are connected, are related. It was because of evolutionary ideas that phylogenetics and cladistics were developed, and they have been applied in the scientific field. Another change happened in 1993 and some other fields in 1998, 2000, 2002, until the latest in 2005. Here, you can see the changes that happened throughout.
the revised definition.
those
The
years.
The least inclusive clade containing Triceratops horridus and Passer domesticus. Guessing that's the passenger
That's the-
pigeon
No, that's the
or
barn sparrow.
domesticated pigeon.
Barn sparrow.
Oh, sparrow.
Mhm. Passerines
Triassic.
get their whole name from sparrows.
How
All
is
the
that
passerines.
significantly different from the original definition?
I like that definition where it's everything in between Triceratops and barn sparrow. It narrows things down. It helped us decide where to put Herrerasaurus, for instance. You know, it was an important
Mhm.
distinction to make.
Well, what I'm asking is, what is the difference between the original and revised definition?
I
here?
mean, nothing except here it names a bird.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah, they changed their mind about it. Oh my!
No, but they
And that's-
didn't
and
though. It literally the
it's
original
just-
definition just says all the descendants of the most recent common ancestor of birds and
Yeah.
Triceratops.
what they've done is just narrow down to a specific species of bird and Triceratops. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just clarifying. More precise language is never a problem, right?
Yeah, and also giving a temporal range, which I think that might be bumped back a bit in modern day, but I mean, that's not bad. Not bad, I guess.
Late Triassic, you think? I think it's mid Triassic, isn't it?
I let's see what's the oldest definite dinosaur? It's hard because dinosaurs and crocodilomorphs and pterosaurs diverged around then.
Dinosauromorphia. All kinds of stuff outside the dinosaur clade to keep in mind. What's not a dinosaur?
Bree, you really are good at getting Doc down rabbit holes.
I know. I'm sorry. I ask so many weird questions.
Hey,
And
look,
he
it's
he
what
wants
the
to know the
stream is
answer. Like
for.
we want to know the answer, and then we go research them.
Well, we all got. I'm sure you guys you have the same stuff on your screens as I do. I have a whole bunch of papers and articles about the people and the things that we've talked about so far pulled up. I still have.
Hey, again, we're not in a hurry with the show. Like it's what we do. We go on tangents and we have fun. Also, if A to Z Animals is to be believed, the oldest confirmed dinosaur is 243 million years old. So that's early mid Triassic.
Yeah, this is from the 60s, though. I mean,
From the 30s.
oh, no, it's not. No,
apparently.
it's not. Yeah. Oh, from the 30s.
Which I mean that is old, like old.
Yeah.
Interesting. I will just say AJ said he didn't want to hop in because Grayson is too smart. Everyone's welcome, and I especially welcome people who have different viewpoints than myself or the rest of the panel. Like, if you want to hop on, as long as you're polite, hop on in. No problem. This is an open theater. The link to the StreamYard is pinned. And yeah, as I say that, we have a wild Rodney.
Yo.
Howdy, howdy. And yep, as I say that, we have a wild Rodney.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, hey, I hear myself.
I hear
Sorry.
you twice.
I had to come out to my garage to be able to chat. The baby went to sleep right behind me, so I brought my tablet, and I need to turn it down.
No problem. No problem. Oh, well. Well, let's see. Let's see what the... Oh, and now we have an AJ.
Hey.
So,
Hey.
am I muted?
Right. Not anymore.
We can hear you.
Yay.
You ready for some dino talk, nerds?
I am. Me and Grayson had an interesting stream last night that I thought it was fun. I don't know how Grayson feels about it, but I had fun, especially at the end. The laughter at the end was contagious. I was watching it again and I was cracking up.
I wasn't able to see the full thing before the stream tonight, but that dude got so much wrong.
Yeah, like if to anybody who sees my new stream, if you find it like a slog to get through, just watch like the last 15 minutes at least. If you don't watch any of it, just watch like the last part of it, because that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. I mean, I imagine everyone here knows you, AJ. If not, Atheist Jr. He does fun stuff, likes to cover Hovind a lot. But last night was something different. It was a descent.
Out of our small community, I have the highest sub count.
For now.
Just saying.
There you go.
Yeah,
Against my better judgment, I think I'm going to do something on Hovind here in a little bit too.
Do it. It makes for great content. I mean, if I can speak for myself, I
mean, my
I think I'm going to do
my highest viewed stuff.
The 4 questions he says that all religions, including atheism, tries to answer.
What are those?
Who am I? Where did I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going when I die?
Okay, I'm going to attempt to answer these. So you might have to repeat them. So I'm AJ. What was the second one?
Where did I come from?
I came from my mother's womb. She gave birth to me. My dad got her pregnant, and they combined their genetic data to make me. I'm a combination of the DNA of my dad and mom. That's where I came from.
Why am I here?
I'm here because my dad got my mom pregnant and she gave birth to me.
And where am I going when I die?
Probably into a casket or a coffin, and then I will be buried in a cemetery plot, probably about 6 feet under the ground, hopefully with a tasteful headstone, hopefully like 60 or 70 or 80 years from now, a long time from now. And there'll be hundreds and hundreds of people, if not thousands, sobbing at my funeral, devastated that I died. It'll be like Michael Jackson's funeral. Oh, I can't believe this guy and his no more Hovind videos. Oh no. We love AJ. We stand.
Hovind.
Hovind.
That's what we'll say. That's what we'll say at your funeral. Well,
here lies AJ. He dunked on Hovind. 1989 to 3000 and late.
Every time you say Hovind in your eulogy, everybody in the audience will say Hovind.
Yeah, but that was not hard to answer those questions. What is so difficult about that? I'm not saying that wouldn't make a good video, but
I'm going far deeper into it than it really deserves.
That's what you should do.
Now, I just realized, AJ, eventually, like in a decade or so, you might have to shift to covering Eric Hovind.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that because I pitched this idea to Grayson. I'm always trying to get I call us the Miami Heat of debating YouTube. I'm Chris Bosch. I don't know which one of Grayson and Mark Reed is D Wade or LeBron, but I'm always trying to get us together to react to a video. And I found this one that was Eric Hovind and this woman, this white bitch, and they were talking about sex ed and why sex ed is bad, and how they're sneaking around parents to teach our kids that gay people and trans people exist, and that they're teaching preteens how to use condoms, and this is bad. I'm like, and I was watching it. I just had so much to say. Like I said in the Discord chat, I was like literally like pacing around my house, like with my headphones in, be like, no, bitch, you're wrong, bitch, no.
Yeah. Can we start to normalize using the terms Hovind the Elder and Hovind the Younger?
Well, my rap alter ego is Young Hovind.
Young Hovind. Yeah, I remember that. Young Hovind.
Yeah, you reposted. You said my song was a banger, Bree.
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was pretty good.
It's on one of my playlists.
It's missing a hook. It does need a hook. There's kind of a blank part in the middle, but other than that, I'm very happy with how that turned out. I love the lyrics. So
yeah, I made a playlist of you and did Dr. Josh doing his Hovind impression and the rap battle that Snake did. Snake was right.
Me and Snake.
Yeah, you guys back and forth. I had that on there too.
Yeah, I have a playlist of my songs on my channel. Some of them are better than others. I would say that one that Bree likes is the best one, definitely. But I've been wanting to do another one, but it's just hard. It's not even writing songs is hard. I did do a parody of the song "Drowning," but drowning. I wrote all the lyrics and I literally like practiced it, like rehearsed it, did like 45 or 50 takes of it, like videos, until I realized that I can't sing. And that song is really more of like singing than it is rapping.
I'm going to make a bold statement that there are a lot of people singing today who have hit it big who can't really sing either, but that auto-tune does some magic for them.
Dude, I literally tried to get auto-tune on my computer, and they want you to pay like all these different fees for licenses, and I even tried and I couldn't get it to work.
Yikes. You should ask Al Trucker how he does it. He does his videos with auto-tune.
Do you guys want to hear my lyrics that I wrote?
Maybe in a bit. We have gotten off into
I know I've derailed this, but Doc, I'm going to give you some constructive criticism. As I love you. I love you, and I stay on your channel. But you pick boring as fuck videos to watch on your streams. I'm just saying.
Hey, from me to you, not bad so far.
It's not a reflection on you. I'm just saying. Sorry, that sounded harsh. Wait, go ahead.
I find them. I like dinos.
Yeah, AJ, I just want to point out, last night you chose an hour-long video by like the world's biggest degenerate talking about nothing for an hour.
You don't get to talk here, AJ.
This man was talking about noodles for an hour.
Nice.
Okay, I'm just not gonna say anything.
That said, before I hit play, now hear me out here. hove into the white and hove into the graying.
All of them have in common the same reason for that change, which is phylogenetic, cladistics, evolutionary ideas. However, this idea that led to include birds and
Just
dinosauria
throw in as many
comes
words as you
way
can.
before all those changes. It comes with
Yeah, like kind of just threw a bunch of kind of related
Phylogenetic,
words.
evolutionary, cladistic, it's going on and
Taxonomic,
on.
Darwin,
Yeah,
Darwinian.
just throw in all those buzzwords real quick so people are just like, ugh.
Lump it all together. So anytime you hear that, you think evil atheist like AJ.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Like I
Well,
don't want to
have
make fun of her accent, but it was a word mishmash there.
Have you guys ever seen that image? Like Kent Ham likes to promote it, where it's like the guy chopping down the tree, and it's like he's chopping down the tree of evolution, and it's like one of those political cartoons, and evolution is at the root, and then all these other things, it's like abortion, yeah, feminism, like gay marriage, all these other horrible social issues are caused by evolution, and if you attack the root of that tree, you topple down all these like you take away rights from all these groups of people, and you kill all these trans people. It's like, well, I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
That's
I'm
that's
not
my
surprised.
that's what I think
Like-
would happen. But I
Like
don't know.
every time somebody does apologetics, I can kind of feel myself slowly fading.
Yeah, it's like you can feel yourself being slid into the oven just a little bit more,
Yeah,
because you're gonna
Oh,
be
dear.
freeze gonna be first in the oven
yeah.
once
I
once
look
the conservatives
delicious.
take over.
Well, just
I'm just
remind me to send y'all a fire extinguisher for Christmas.
I mean, it goes LGBT, so I'll be like behind. I'll
Yeah,
like
you'll be in
two-
line behind me.
Yeah, I'll be in line behind you. So
Yeah, remember what you said about a tasteful burial?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all.
Oh yeah, cremation.
will-
Unwanted
I-
cremation.
Yeah, I will
Tastes
not
like
get
ash.
that. This went dark. We went to eugenics. Good grief.
Well, I mean, well, while we're on that topipic,
They always bring up
what
eugenics.
what I want is a nice solid headstone made of I don't know. I'm thinking red granite, but I could be talked out of it. With a tree planted right behind it. So as the tree slowly grows, it'll like subsume the headstone. Because I think
Well, I
it's
can-
really cool when trees do that.
I'm with Frank at Reynolds on this one. Just throw me in the trash.
Yeah, I'm the trash
Yeah.
can. Throw me in the trash. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I
can't-
want to. I want to be putting it. Like, I know it's really hard to like guarantee this kind of thing, which is why I'd be very careful about the wording of it. But I would want my body to be put in such a way that it would have the highest possible chance of fossilizing. Because I think it would be just badass to be uncovered in a couple million years, and somebody being like, yes, early 20 or mid 21st century Homo sapien. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, you could. Well, make sure to carve like your name and date of birth into your bones.
See, yeah,
I'm
that's
kind of-
that's like a thought I had, like having a little bit of information about me, like put into my thigh bone or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
I will say,
in that case, well,
I
your
just
best
wanted to
bet
respond
then-
to Doc Deino real quick. I just wanted to say that what did you say you wanted for your grave?
A tree
Uh,
with
a tree
granite,
that'll
red
slowly
granite.
subsume a headstone.
Well, I will say I just want 4 walls and adobe slabs for my girls, and
Mhm.
I think anyone's going to get that
Okay.
reference, but I'll be happy if someone does. So go ahead.
That said, if you want the best chance of fossilization, I don't know, get buried at the bottom of a deep lake. Probably
Or-
your best
or-
bet.
Probably,
Maybe
yeah.
jump
something to
into a
prevent
bog.
Scavengers.
Become a
So-
bog body.
I actually want the opposite. I want everything about me to be reabsorbed. I'd like bury. I wish I could just be left laying in the open in a forest. To be frank, I would.
You can do that, right? There are services where they will literally they have these special like coffins where they put your corpse in this sealed thing, and they put a bunch of like compost and like mushroom like spores and all these things, and you
Yes, that's what I
decompose.
want. I want
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
Make it
you
so.
decompose, and then what they do is you literally turn into like a few cubic meters or of soil, and then they can donate the soil to your family, and then they can plant a garden with it.
That
Isn't that
sounds
cool?
freaking amazing.
Or
Why
you
are we
can
even
get-
cremating people anymore when we can do that shit? I
I
don't get
know.
it.
So we can
Isn't
spread
that
their
nice? And
ashes at Disney World.
it's totally green. Literally, there's no harmful effect on the environment whatsoever because you're literally decomposing because we're organic matter. It's like Tyler Durden
Right.
says.
I want to be decomposed. I want to return to the earth. I want to grow into new life, the remains that are left behind, my nutrients and all that. I want them to propagate new life and send that out into the world. That's what's the point of diet and locking all your nutrients and everything about you in a box that the world can't even get to. But that's just my opinion.
It's because we have a fear of death. So instead of doing what you just said, or like, becoming soil and like letting your family plant a garden, or like getting buried under a tree on a hill where the sun sets, something nice. Instead, what we do is we drain the blood out of our bodies and replace it with carcinogenic formaldehyde, which preserves ourselves so that our families can have an open casket funeral and everyone can be disturbed, but pretend like, because it's fucking disturbing in my opinion. I do not want that for me. Like, I think it looks fucking weird. People, I'm not going to get into that, but like, I don't like it. And it's just like, because we have this fear of death and like this idea of, oh no, my loved one is rotting. He's rotting. It's like, no, bitch. This is a good thing. It's bad to be rotting over years, like from being a formaldehyde wax corpse. But doesn't the idea of becoming soil and getting planted somewhere sound so much better? You're like, bitch, I'm dead. It's like you literally throw me in the trash, but in a good way.
Yeah, let me be revitalized, right? Let me.
Yeah.
And I know the throw me in the trash is it really is a better option than burial, because at least getting thrown in the trash, you're not going to waste because things eat the dump.
I'm already dead. Like, I mean, the idea is that it's like, it would be horrifying for your family members for them to think that their loved one was thrown in the trash, or they died like Buffalo Bill and killed them and threw them into a river, like, and water corpses are the worst. But to me, like, it just sounds so much better that, like, your loved one dies, you have them go off. Maybe you have a natural funeral or whatever, where you just put a sheet over them and you do the stuff at home, and then they come and pick up the body, and like 4 months later, a truck backs into your driveway with a bunch of soil in the back, and they're like, where do you want it? To me, that's much more just
right.
better.
Thinking back to the fossilizing your remains, I wonder if you could do a process like that that left the skeleton. I know you can. If you put it in an actual box with the beetles, they'll clean that skeleton nice and shiny for you. If you could do that to a person's skeleton and then they could have that sunk to the bottom of a lake, maybe deep water lake.
I feel like no matter what, fossilization is just such a slim chance.
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
And that's why I say, like, I would word it carefully, being like, I don't want you to try and guarantee it, because I know you can't, but like, I would want to be given the utmost best possibility to fossilize.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that Doc Deino, I'll allow her to play the video because I've been mouthing off a lot.
It's okay. Let's try to get 10 seconds.
I know what it's
Darwin's idea of evolution. And it had the support of Thomas Huxley, John Ostrom, Baker, and Galton, for example.
Oh, okay.
No.
So Thomas Huxley, Ostrom, Baker, and who was that?
It had the support of Thomas Huxley, John Ostrom, Baker, and Galton, for example.
Galton?
Dalton?
Was she trying to say Gould? Like Stephen Jay Gould?
Huxley, didn't he write Brave New World? Oh, that's Aldous Huxley, sorry.
Thomas
Great.
Huxley's yeah.
Is he the
Yeah,
one where they
19th
say
century.
evolution had something our sexual mores, and it was actually like his grandfather said it or something like that? We like the
I
evolution.
think that was Julian Huxley that said
How many
something about
fucking
that.
Huxleys are there? Can't keep track.
One or two.
They're reproducing. They're evolving.
True.
We're waiting for you to push play again, Doc.
It's,
And it was
telling someone
all
good night.
based on evolutionary ideas.
Evolutionists are now saying that birds are dinosaurs. So they've changed the definition of dinosaurs from a reptile that walks upright, like this Tyrannosaurus, to also include everything they believe evolved from a dinosaur. So the first
Well, we don't have to believe it.
Well, more so that everything that makes this T-Rex a theropod dinosaur also makes this chicken a theropod dinosaur.
You know,
Right.
I've been trying to be more of an optimist lately. Like I said, Grayson is a pessimist. I said that yesterday. And I am just glad that they actually, for the example they gave, that we actually got a two-legged theropod dinosaur.
Like, I don't understand. They said that the original definition of a dinosaur was like a two-legged, a reptile that walks on two legs, but like,
Walks
what?
upright. Well,
Yeah, but like, are they saying that like sauropods are not
Yeah.
dinosaurs?
or
The
the birds don't walk
Ceratopsians.
upright.
I think they're referring to how dinosaurs hold their legs straight under the body, but like there's
I don't think.
other
I think that
animals
is a
do
way too optimistically generous reading of what they're saying.
I hate how tiny this T-Rex's head is. Can I say that again?
You know, if you don't really look at the legs of a T-Rex, they almost look like a snake.
Yeah, kind of.
Like they're so. I'm sorry. I don't know how accurate this model is.
Probably not
No,
very.
it's not. It's not. It's bad.
Okay, well, disregard that. The ribs are all janky. Why are his ribs
Like,
so
where's
janky?
the pubis? Is it just the angle that is behind the leg?
Yeah, what is this bone that's jutting out here in the back? Why does it look like that?
Am I the only one that notices the pronated wrist and tiny head? And surely not. Surely
I see
Doc
that
Yeah,
too.
the head is way too small.
Bree, I'm on my phone. I can't see something that small.
Even the arms look too small, even for a T-Rex.
Look how tiny the rib cage is too compared to the legs.
That's what I
It's
was
just-
saying. The rib is they're so janky. They look like onion rings.
Yeah, and the
What was
tail
that,
vertebrae
Doc?
are much better. But AJ, for bone jutting back, are you talking about this one right here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a part of it. That's just
That is a penis. That is a penis.
Wow, that's much better. Thank you.
See,
my
there's
friend.
the pubis. Like I can see the pubis on this one, but I couldn't. I don't know if it's just the angle and the leg bone being in the way with like the loading bar down bottom, but I couldn't see it on their model.
Look how the ribs taper here, though. See how the
Yeah.
ribs taper?
And
Okay.
the curvature in his spine. See on this one, on the other one, I thought it looked like a snake because it was like straight. It was just straight, and the ribs were so much shorter. They were equal with the length of the tail. That's why I said he looked like a snake.
And the
And
wrists
his head
are
was so small.
pronated, and the heads. This one, the head's a lot. You got to see that. Oh my gosh, that head was so tiny. The tail. I didn't think the tail was that bad, Doc. What was wrong with the tail? I thought it was well balanced with the body portions.
I think the tail is a bit too big, but I could be off on that.
It does seem a little long.
Processes are too long.
It's too straight.
Yeah.
Like, do you see now how like it looks like a snake or a salamander? It looks like a tube. His body looks like a big tube.
Yeah, because there's barely any upright
Variation
gradient,
in
right?
size.
His ribs are like facing in different directions at the bottom. Like, am I crazy or like?
Wait, so I just realized why the skull bugs me so much. The lower jaw has been jammed up into the skull.
And there's like no holes in the top of the skull. You know what I mean? Like how there's like empty space in the top of the T-Rex skull. Yeah, it's like gone. It's like all compacted and you see all that empty space. You see, you can see the wall on the other side. Can I just say this is so fucking cool. Like this is so fucking cool. This image.
This is Stan. He is the main rival for Sue for T-Rex size.
Yeah, they go back and forth, right? No, well, this one would have been bigger. Well, this one actually would have been bigger.
So take just a moment to observe how robust the lower jaw is on an actual T-Rex.
Yeah.
Compared to
You want to see robust.
And
Yeah.
you see that the arms are actually they're actually not that small. That's what
Look
I'm
at
saying.
that rib cage right there. That is fucking gorgeous.
He was beefy.
Yeah, Stan is longer. Sue is chonky, even for a T-Rex.
Yeah, damn, she was thick.
Yeah,
thick with 4 C's.
But you can see there's so much space in the skull. This one, like, you can't even see through it.
Yeah, and like I said, if you look at where the jaw meets the skull, right here,
he's got like an overbite
up there. It doesn't connect with the skull back here like it's supposed to.
Yeah, damn, that's huge. But look how tiny and spindly his arms are, even for a T-Rex. They're like twigs.
Wonder where they got this model from.
I don't know. It's so bad. It's literally so bad.
And
I don't
turns out it's like a brachiosaur tail with like T-Rex legs and some kind of like Carnotaurus arms.
Those are mammal ribs. I will die on that hill that those are like bovid ribs. And like a cow, like look at like a cow and you see the ribs.
The ribs on this one are so fucking
they
bad.
Would have thoracic vertebrae though. Dinosaurs don't have thoracic vertebrae.
Yeah,
they have Jurassic vertebrae.
Thoracic.
I know.
Sorry,
it was
lumbar vertebrae, not thoracic vertebrae. They have thoracic. I can't remember my vertebrates.
I appreciate
that. Was just referring to the
I know you got it. Go back to that other image.
Which one?
The cool looking fossil, not Sue, but the other one, Stan.
Stan.
Because I need to know reverse dick bone. I don't know what is the deal with this.
Okay. so this is the T-Rex hip. If you think of your own hip, so this up here, this is the iliac blade. Yep. So this is, it's just below your ribs. This big thing is the pubis. That's, behind where your thingy is.
So not the leg bone, but the thing behind it.
Yeah. The thing that kind of looks like a big wedge.
Like a hammerhead shark, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
And then this jutting back here is the ischium. It's like it's what you sit on. It's your butt bones,
Okay, like a tailbone.
No, the tailbone's actually
yeah. That would be your sacrum.
Well, I sit on my tailbone. Did
the
the T-Rex have an internal penis?
We have something called an ischial spine that's analogous to this, but there's one on each side of our hips because we're not dinosaurs.
That was not an answer to my question, Bree.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was asking about the penis. But I mean, I appreciate what you said, but
the penis was probably internal. But like, here's a human, right? You are sitting. You are sitting on these right here, not your tailbone, unless you're sitting super far back.
Can I just say, like, visually, from a design perspective, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Just the way this is laid out.
Yeah, human hips are weird.
Yeah.
Humans decided to walk upright.
Pull up one with the ischial spine so you can see an analog.
Ischial spine, isn't that? Oh, you mean like a reptile?
No, AJ, let us see those cheeks so we can compare and show you where they are. Come on.
No, please, not on this stream.
Drop trowel. I'm not even. It's not my stream.
In Discord. Do you think it would be better for humans if we were exactly like we are now, but we had like a tail jutting out that went to the ground or like balanced us?
Oof.
It would change our posture.
I feel like that would be.
Would there be less back pain? Because I have back pain.
Oh, same.
Even
Well,
like
so-
old world monkey tail is just used for balance would change our
Yeah.
posture.
Well, I'm almost
and-
talking about like a thick reptile tail, like something that's like not like a prehensile tail, but like just something that's always angled down, and
Like a
that's just kind of
kangaroo tail?
like a third leg almost. I don't know.
Like, kangaroos have that tail they can like lean back and rest
Yeah,
on. Like,
yeah.
chill.
That's yeah, like that.
Meanwhile,
I mean,
here's
I'd be
me
down.
hearing about you humans and your back problems.
I don't think dinosaurs would ever design chairs that looked like that with those tails.
Yeah,
think
well,
the
you would need
dinosaurs-
you need a hole in the back of the chair.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm going to hit. Okay.
First word they changed is
There's
dinosaur.
Pubis. Okay, I can see it.
They've changed is bird.
As you can see, in their worldview, aves and birds are not.
Obvious.
So they don't understand the law of monophyly.
Of course not.
Yeah, okay.
The AI is not having any better luck translating than you are, Doc.
Yeah.
True.
A's.
So what they're saying here is we will use aves to refer to things that not everyone would consider a bird because it's an informal term. So this is normal. This is very normal in scientific papers.
Not the same thing. They're not synonymous anymore, which leads to the conclusion that birds are living dinosaurs.
Yes, they are alive. Yeah.
Living dinosaurs. Yeah.
Yes. Pretty cool.
As you can also see here in this paper, birds are the
I find this to be such a weird contradiction that younger creationists, who are literally the group of people, I don't know if all of them argue this, but like that argue, like Ken Harvin argues that there are still dinosaurs living like in Africa, like Mokele and Bembe, and he says that but these are the same people who argue against the idea that birds are living dinosaurs. It's like, shouldn't they embrace that idea and say, look, we were right, dinosaurs are still living?
No, because
That
I
would
be
make too much
conceding
sense.
ground to the evolutionists, which they'll have to do eventually, as I've had to do on every other thing.
Right.
What is an example of anything that isn't like that's an ave but not a bird? I don't get it. Like if they're not synonymous.
I guess you could talk about like some paraves or like
para-aves.
Or like Archaeopteryx, you could call it a bird.
They said
Colloquially,
Archaeopteryx
but
has always
it's
been
class
considered a bird.
Aves. Colloquially, yes.
Aren't
But
para-aves
not
are
always
not in the class of like aves though, right?
Yeah, so like you could call Archaeopteryx a bird, but it's a parave, not a member of Aves. So that's the distinction that I think this book is making here.
Okay.
Well, it said that Archaeopteryx has always been considered a bird. If you go back like one second,
Yes.
Which I'm like, that sounds wrong. Because like paleontologists, when they started discovering fossils close to the lineage of Archaeopteryx, they started finding fossilized birds and fossilized dinosaurs that were so similar in their anatomy that there was an overlap to where, because they had like, okay, this is a list of anatomical features where a fossil will fit into the category of bird, and this list means they're a dinosaur. It's like they would fit into both, and like they could literally be considered both.
So
Archaeopteryx, I think, is one of those.
So if I understand my dinosaur history right, Archaeopteryx has always been considered a bird, but for a long time it was considered a weird bird in
Considered
that
by
it
who?
looked like a dinosaur. Then later on, we determined birds are dinosaurs. So again, you can call it a bird, but it is not within the class Aves, which modern birds belong to. That's what this paper is saying specifically, and Bree is sharing a thing. Yeah, here we go. So Archaeopteryx down there near the bottom. It's not in the class Aves, but if you saw one, fluttering around, you'd call it a bird.
Would it have flown like a bird, or would it have been more like I don't know, like the way you see parrots doing, where it doesn't quite seem like it's flying. It's just kind of like barely staying up there.
Well, parrots do fly like birds because they are birds. So
True.
Well, right, yeah.
They, I believe the current consensus is Archaeopteryx would have been a weak flyer, but it could have flown.
More like a tinamou?
Not familiar with that off the top of my head.
Is that
How'd you spell
the
that?
one in New Zealand? It's mostly ground based.
Oh, the tinamous are they are ratites. They're in the paleonaves.
you're thinking of a kakapo.
Yeah, cockapoo. That's yeah. That's
So
Right.
tinamous are like they're related to ostriches and kiwis and elephant birds and all these other ratites, but they can actually fly a little bit. They're just they fly really poorly, and they have a almost vestigial keel, so they don't like the keel bone that birds require to fly.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Sorry, do you know how to spell that? So I'm not familiar.
Tinamou. They're so bad at flying that sometimes they crash and kill themselves.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. They're like the same family of all the. So it's the ancestors of all the ratites, right, are supposed to have been something like a tinamou. Like that's how they got to all these little islands and stuff. And as soon as they get to an island where there's no predators, they immediately go flightless because they can't fly for shit in the first place.
I think I have heard of these before. I
Mhm.
think I could be wrong, but I think these are considered among the closest living relatives to terror birds.
No, that's a Siriema. Different
Serena?
Siriema, yeah.
Can you spell that? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yep, that's Seriema.
Serima.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
They
yeah, they look similar, just with longer legs.
Yeah, these are predators. The tinamou is mostly it's like an omnivore, like an ostrich. Eats whatever.
Huh. But yeah, that's probably a pretty good analog, honestly. Like mostly ground dwelling, though Archaeopteryx I think is considered carnivorous. Pretty neat.
People like to make the comparison to the Hoatzin, but I don't know if Archaeopteryx is supposed to have been mostly arboreal. As far as I know, it's thought to live on the forest floor, kind of like a browser.
More on the forest floor, but sort of out of necessity. The area it lived in didn't have a lot of tree cover, as far as we know.
Yeah.
Sydney,
Which the
has
Hoatzin lives
Deino
in.
on the desk is an allosaur. I'm pretty sure it's a tyrannosauroid. I would guess probably a tyrannosaurus, just a bad one. Doesn't have an allosauroid skull. Sorry, you were saying something, Bree. Sorry.
Let's play the video.
Video.
Mm-hmm.
Anonymous
I'm stuffing my face. Sorry.
which leads to the conclusion that birds are living dinosaurs. As you can also see here in this paper, birds are the sister group of mammals, birds are the sister group of crocodiles, birds are dinosaurs.
Okay, yeah, these are 3 separate hypotheses. And then it looks like whatever this is goes on to describe which is most likely.
I tell you that number
Source.
one's a bunch of BS. It's just a
Yeah, I
group
think
of
that's
mammals.
supposed to be the obvious odd man out.
Yeah. The other 2 aren't mutually exclusive, though.
No.
If
I
dinosaurs
wouldn't
are
say
a sister group to
group.
crocodilians. Oh, I'd say crocodiliomorph. Crocodiliomorphs are as far as archosaurs go, the clades would be, well, not necessarily Dinosauria specifically, but Dinosauromorphs would be a sister clade to crocodiliomorphs within
Sort of.
Archosauria.
So what appears to have happened is between crocodilians, pterosaurs, and dinosaurs, crocodilians diverged first, and then pterosaurs and dinosaurs diverged later. Then, birds came from dinosaurs. So a pterosaur would probably be the best analog, but we don't have any of them anymore, sadly.
According to this new definition of bird, not all animals with feathers have to be birds because it's not based on anatomy, it's based on evolution.
But it is based on anatomy.
Feathers
very
are
much based
anatomy.
on anatomy. Yeah, and they're a shared derived characteristic. I'm sorry.
They changed the definition of dinosaur, and now they've changed the definition of bird.
Not only that, but evolutionists have created a new term called non-avian dinosaur. A dinosaur that is not an ave, that's not a bird. Well, that's what we expect, right? Because a dinosaur is a dinosaur, which means a reptile, and a bird is a bird. This term alone is...
And birds
are reptiles.
They're very derived.
Is that like a little
from
nightjar?
reptiles.
Well, I mean, reptile is not like a monophyletic category. So
True.
it's kind of like, I don't know, I'm bringing in the evolutionary worldview. Oh no.
That's a nightjar. If you guys need me to
Okay.
identify any of these animals for you, you just say so, and I will, okay?
Sounds good. But okay, Grayson, how about diapsids? Birds are diapsids. Is that better?
Yay, monophyletic terms.
Which colloquially are referred to as reptiles.
Oh, yeah.
It's confusing. Sounds like a married single man. It makes no sense. The term itself shows bias and evolutionary ideas that birds and dinosaurs are connected.
Here's some examples of supposed non-avian dinosaurs.
Ooh, let's do it. Come on, guys.
Supposed non-avian dinosaurs.
Herrerasaurus, okay, and Coelophysids.
Yep.
I would love to see a flying Spinosauridae.
I'm sure it'll happen someday.
All right.
I mean,
Just trying to make sure this is divided properly, but it looks good so far. I don't think this...
are ornithomimids in Maniraptora? I'm not sure. I'm going off Wikipedia, so it could be wrong, but are they class? They are classed within Maniraptora forms, according to Wikipedia. But I guess not. Sorry, they're in Maniraptora forms, but not Maniraptora specifically. So they're like just off the edge.
Okay.
And then Dinochirids are a subset of ornithomimids? I guess they are derived.
Yeah. Derived enough to have their own spot, at least.
Uh-huh. Troodontids.
I don't know why they got the Dilophosauridae way like in the middle when it should be over there on the left with all the other old dinosaurs.
They do. Weird.
Yeah.
And is
I'm
that
still stuck on a
really-
flying.
The flying Spinosaurus.
just imagine a flying, like, fish eating dinosaur with a sail on its back, like in the wings. It just gets really weird after a couple of seconds.
Have you seen Spinoferus?
I
have seen Spinoferus. Or Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus.
I have an animation to share with you.
Ferris Bueller's Day Out.
Okay, so I'm
Alex,
going to send a link in the private chat Watch it. It is fabulous. Let me get the link for you. There you go. Yeah, take a look at that and get back to me. You will thank me later.
Yeah.
Just closer. Yeah, it sounds right for ornithomimids, I'm guessing.
This group of animals includes Pyroraptor, the one we talked about earlier. This group is called Maniraptora, and it also includes some other animals with much better preservation than Pyroraptor. Two animals called Microraptor and Caudipteryx have been found with complete wing feather impressions. Microraptor was found 3 years after Pyroraptor, and this fossil was published with clear wing feathers and tail feathers. It's part of the Dromaeosaur family. Caudipteryx was first found in 1998, and this fossil was also found with clear wing feathers and clear tail feathers. It's related to the Oviraptor family.
The next word that they have redefined.
Yes,
no.
that is true. Your point. I guess there was some sort of point supposed to be made there.
Is the word feather. Here, I'm holding a feather from African crown crane from the zoo at the Ark Encounter. As you see in this paper, they are understanding and believing that the feather evolved. And in this paper, for example, they also talk about this new theory for evolutionary origin of feathers. It's clear by that paper and others that the idea that feathers evolved is responsible for the idea that filaments should now be accepted as feathers, as we can see in this quote.
Here's a diagram
Let's
that
let them
shows
do
the
this.
supposed evolution of feathers. Stage 3 feathers, the ones in the middle, they haven't been found, and evolutionists can't explain what would cause them to form.
Okay. So
Aren't
even
those
going
just
by
down
what you see
feathers?
there, well, just going by that at face value. So we have stage 1, 2, 4, and 5. We're just missing 3.
Look, I'm a
What are we saying?
layman, and I don't know jack squat about this stuff, but from here, I can call BS on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a feather with barbs and barbules attached at the base to a calamus. Let's see. Stage 3 feathers. Hmm.
And is this like another one of those, oh, since we don't have the entire thing, it's invalid? Like we've got 98% of it, but since we don't have that other 2%, it's invalid.
Yeah, basically.
See, that's just so dishonest. So
I'm not-
intentionally dishonest.
Okay, I'm trying to find something.
So, what is the evidence that we don't have these stage 3 feathers? They look like things that we do have.
Trust me, bro.
Like because not all, because there's feathers, there's different types of feathers on extant birds. Like on one bird, it has, the downy feathers underneath that look kind of like the what's 3B here, and then 3A, like what they stuff pillows with. They don't have the barbs; they make them stiff, like you see in 3A and then B. Anyway.
So I'm reading from. I'm not sure if this is from like an old. This appears to be a cutout from a college lecture or something to that effect. But if I'm understanding correctly, stage 3 feathers have been found with Cynornithosaurus. If I'm understanding what they're trying to say correctly. This is their 3A.
I've got a screen to share as well.
Oh, do you find some?
Yeah, like here's
Grayson has a bone to pick.
like here's the various. I mean, so far I haven't seen anybody that's agreeing with this stage 1 through 5 thing, but this paper does go through multiple stages, more than 5, and you can see here on the left like the sequential like development of feathers, and then you can see here on the right like all of the dinosaurs with all of the various stages that they've highlighted. So I don't know what they're talking about. Show me where the missing one is.
See, and that was my impression from my chat with R and Raw, that we have a really, really good, like, linear picture of the evolution of feathers.
I hate to self-promote, but have any of you guys seen my debate with Kent Hovind, where he asked me to show where scientists had made feathers evolve from scales in the laboratory, and I literally showed him the paper, and he was like, "I don't believe you for 1 second."
Like, it's pretty trivial. There's like different types of guinea fowl we can like fiddle with some way, and like they'll either have feathers on their legs or they won't. Like they'll have the scales where the feathers would be.
Yeah, they just, I feel like creationists, they learn, they usually get educated in a certain way when they're young, when they're kids, and like they do not want to be told anything else as an adult. That's why I guarantee you, if you ask a creationist if Pluto is a planet, they'll say yes, it's a planet. Those liberal scientists want to say it's not a planet, but it's a planet, like that episode of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Jerry.
Exactly like that. Yeah, exactly like Jerry. And they grew up being told that dinosaurs were scaly and looked like reptiles. And they're like, no, you're not going to tell me that they had feathers. And you're not going to tell me that they had birds. Like, because they're just set in their ways like that. You know, I think that's part of it. You know, I saw Jurassic Park when I was a kid and I loved it.
Fake.
Like, I loved Jurassic Park too as a kid, but I'm willing to have I'm willing to understand that it's not completely accurate and that it was based on, well, I mean, they knew that dinosaurs had feathers when that movie came out. But
yeah, and
you know,
the reason why the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park don't have feathers, it's more so just to do with technological constraints. Like it would have been really expensive, and they didn't think they could do it convincingly.
It would have looked goofy, I think.
They also have like an in-universe explanation in terms of
well, that's why the movie ends. When the movie ends, that's why it's implied at the end of the movie. They're in the plane, and he looks out and he sees the birds flying, and then the credits roll. So that's like they give a nod to it. The producers of the movie with the ending.
It's all throughout. Grant is constantly comparing the dinosaurs he sees to birds.
Yeah,
and it's really overt.
The T-Rex. I mean, the T-Rex scene with the Jeep is so iconic, but I can't imagine it being as intimidating if it had feathers. Personally, although
T-Rex would
mean a little more confident.
Depends.
They shouldn't put feathers on Rexy, but the raptors.
Yeah. I will say this though. I don't know if Doc can find this image. I can try to look it up, but there is this recent museum exhibit where they had a T-Rex that's supposed to be accurate with feathers, and they have an image of the model front on, and to me, I thought it was scary as fuck. Just the way the image was framed. I'll try and find it, but it kind of scared me.
I've seen a few of them.
What you got on screen right now, Doc, are looking like stage 3 feathers to me.
Yes, stage 3 feathers preserved in amber from 2008, apparently. And the link to this is in the chat if anyone wants to check it out.
The plot thickens.
So it's called T-Rex: The Ultimate Predator at the Perot Museum of Nature and Science. So I'm gonna try and find this image because I thought it was scary.
All right, and then I'm showing here, like, there's all kinds of really, really cool art. Like, you can make a feathered dino terrifying if you know what you're doing.
Man, the co-host of
Can I-
this AIG video
yeah.
wishes that he could make some paleo art this good.
That's
Can I share my
badass.
screen? Can I share my screen?
Like, I'm not
Yes.
even gonna be mad
Yes, you
about the
can.
top jaw teeth either. Like, I'm I'm not even gonna be mad about it. That looks badass.
If you share your screen, AJ, I can pop it up.
Okay. Now, maybe this is subjective, but I thought when I first saw this image, I thought it was so striking. I was like, "What the fuck?" It freaked me out.
Oh yeah, this.
I got scared. I was a little scared.
You don't want that coming at you in the dark.
I thought I was scared by this. I don't know. Although he has more of a Gary Busey mullet than feathers, but to me,
that's terrifying.
It's fucking freaky looking. Like you said, like just imagine this, like it's raining outside and it's pitch black, and then you see this thing approaching you, the silhouette, and he's gonna eat you. He's gonna chop you in half, like literally bite you in half. And his eyes are so small compared to the size of his skull. I think this shit is scary. I don't know.
I would like to think that this creature has a laugh like a hyena when it comes at you.
Ooh, maybe.
Look at that.
Oh, and
a 1-year-old
adorable.
There's yeah, you cute. But there is a video I like to show sometimes. By this person on YouTube named Wobbly Works. Just it makes feathered dinosaurs utterly horrifying.
Can you go back to mine just real quick?
Oh yeah,
and then I'll close it. I just wanted to show this. How cool is that?
Oh, hey,
and look at the
Teen
space
T-Rex.
in the skull.
Or
like,
Tarbosaurus.
You see, like what I'm talking about, like that. I'm still stuck on how bad that model fossil was. But, okay.
But
yeah, are we in agreement that T-Rex was scary looking? I thought it was.
I'd say unsettling more than scary.
Unsettling, yes, that's exactly why. It was disturbing.
I would say it's scary in the same way that crackheads are scary.
Yeah, it's like
it has serious crackhead energy.
Well, you know.
It's scary in the same way Gary Busey is scary.
Yeah, Gary Busey, an unhinged Gary Busey with giant teeth the size of kitchen knives. Okay.
Gary Busey.
Gary Rexy.
Okay. We're not letting Doc play the videos enough. We're making him pause too much.
It's fine. And I do want to show this though. Once again, it is by Wobbly Works. Highly encourage people to go check them out. Great animator. And I love this thing they did.
That's what I'm talking about. The beady little eyes.
Just the bird like top of the head and
yeah, so this is realistic.
Play
it again. Roll it again.
Yeah, I'm happy to. It is fabulous.
This would be, yeah. Would the eyes glow like that?
He's like, hey, what are you doing?
And then when it turns the head, you see how big the head is. It almost looks curious more than it does like malicious.
Well, you say that, but
yeah, it's curious how you're gonna taste.
That's a hand down there. It was already eating someone.
How big is that talon? Like, how big are we talking?
I think this is supposed to be a Deinonychus, so 6-7 inches long.
And razor sharp, like.
Yep, made to pierce.
Made to cut skin and flesh open. Or is it made to cut or to like pierce flesh?
To pierce.
Could he cut he slice you open with it?
Not
Could
with
he,
the
could he
claw.
disembowel
with
you?
its
Could it disembowel you?
I mean, you could definitely
Its
like
teeth,
pierce it
yes.
in, and then with the strength, just kind of rip at you.
Maybe.
Well, I feel like with how big, with how the girth or width of the claw, if he punctured a hole in your intestines, I feel like just the force of like they might just shoot out because of the pressure. Or is that weird?
Yeah.
Or might like spill out because the hole would be so
But
big.
It's complicated. Like Deinonychus claws, they have a thick belly on the bottom. Like they're not sharp. The tip is sharp, but like
Yeah.
the inside edge
They
is
had a keratin sheath though. Anytime you see a fossil, you're not seeing the whole
true.
So
True.
what would be? What's the purpose of
I'll be right
piercing?
back.
Like what are they? What are they trying to do with that talon?
So that's actually
Eat
something
pineapples?
kind of terrifying.
Oh,
So what's proposed for most dromaeosaurs to hunt is something called raptor prey restraint, where they would jump on top of their prey, pin it to the ground, stab into them with the claws, and then just slowly tear them apart with their mouth. Because
Like-
the teeth are absurdly sharp.
right.
That would have been my
don't-
guess. Is that
they
it
don't
was
need to-
maybe like pierce and hold.
Uh-huh.
And this is
And-
like for they're trying to eat. They're not even. It's like they're not even like they're not trying to be violent and murder something. They're just actually trying to eat it, right? Or are they like crazy killers?
No, not crazy killers.
So okay.
And
But would the
weird
eyes
thing
glow like
is,
that? I'm
too,
sorry.
I don't know if they would have glowed. Probably,
Okay.
maybe if you were
That's
shining a
probably
light at them.
That seems like an effect for the video, but well, there is a light shining in this clip.
Yeah, from the flare. If I can find it, there's this really, really cool image of Deinonychus like foot curling, and like they could grab like your hands grab. Yep, I found it. Stop screen, present. Come on. Here we go. Like they could close their feet like this. So just grab you, stick the claws in, and you're not escaping until they're done eating.
So, well, I feel like when they jumped on you, you would probably topple over to the ground because of their weight, right? Would they?
Uh-huh.
Or are they like do they tackle you, or is it like they get on top of you and they like make you sink down to the ground because they're heavy? Because they seem like they'd be kind of light.
Tackle most likely.
Like they're like gonna
and
punch
actually,
you into. Oh,
like
great!
if we're talking Deinonychus, I think weight estimates for a large one are about 200 pounds.
It's pretty heavy. That's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
If that lands on
These-
top of you, like if they jumped on your shoulders,
Mhm.
you would at least be off
the
balance.
raptors from Jurassic Park, and they are a bit smaller than shown in the movie, but they are no less terrifying, at least in my personal, completely unbiased opinion.
And correct opinion. Gotta add that part.
You're like, look at this. This is a giant ground hawk.
You know, what I find kind of scary is the massive birds, like, I don't know if they're like quetzalcoatl or whatever they're called, that were like, I don't know, like 14 feet tall, and they have the big swoop beaks. Those things.
Pterosaurs, yeah.
Yeah, pterosaurs. That, I mean, just imagine like being like a quote unquote ancient like caveman or something, and you just see the shadow of that flying over you. That, fuck that.
And yeah, perfect illustration of raptor prey restraint.
I see. So they're pinning you to the ground.
Yep, they pin you down and tear you apart with the jaws.
So do they just puncture anywhere, or do they have like a target that they're going for? And then when they're with their jaws, are they eating your entrails, or is it like just whatever they can get at?
I can't tell you for sure. sadly.
I know this. Yeah, I know it's just speculating, but I imagine they'd be going for the fleshy, like the parts with the most calories. Like they're not going to try and eat like your bowels. You know, unless they're trying to kill you first. That's what I'm not sure about.
I mean, if you
Or
want to do
would
it,
they,
I just-
would they
don't want
eat
the
you
stinky,
alive?
stinky
Would they
stuff.
eat you alive or kill you first? Is what I'm wondering.
I don't know.
Probably
I
either
honestly can't
or,
say for sure.
I would think.
I'm not sure they'd be picky.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna speculate here, but I would think that maybe with the amount of probably competition for food and hunting, they'd probably prefer to have something that's dead and not moving that they could maybe drag off to a like secluded area and then just feed on, rather than something out in the open where they're that's potentially fighting back against them. And then you have, because I'm sure like they would probably have other of their same species stealing meals from them, or like how animals fight over food.
So with Deinonychus, there is actually some evidence that they may have been pack hunters. It is more controversial, but I think the evidence is more towards pack hunting than not for this genus specifically. And something I do want to point out. So this is an illustration by Bacher in 1969. This was published with the paper that described Deinonychus. For the time, this is something you would never see. Like, he's choosing to depict this animal as quick, active, and running.
He's a little derpy. Is it just me?
Derpy.
Yeah.
But
like
for the time,
I could
this is odd. Like
Deinonychus
for me, really just.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you.
Go ahead.
To me, like, just the leg is too high, and his face. I'm just in the noise I'm picturing in my head is just like a duh, like he's just like. Looks like he looks like an idiot to me. Like, this is not.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, his mouth is too long. His mouth is way too long, and he's like kind of frowning. He's like, why is he sad?
Look, I'm not gonna say it's perfect, but it was
1969
revolutionary. Yeah.
Okay. He looks like he's tripping.
Revolutionary for the time.
Like he's actually falling on. Okay. You go and do your ramble.
Well, just like this is a dinosaur at full sprint on the hunt. And this is just not something you saw with dinosaurs back then. Dinosaurs were seen as slow-moving, dumb, cold-blooded lizards.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm thinking I can imagine one of these wanting to like take its time to feed on its food. You know what I mean? Like, not just this quick kill where it's just vicious and it's chasing its prey like a wide receiver or something, and like that seems more like a move like Hollywood to me.
Fair.
Because why expend all that energy if you have the tools to kill your prey? Why do you need to expend so much energy like to chasing it and doing all this theatrics?
Because your prey can run just as fast as you can.
Not if you rip its lungs out.
Well, considering their preferred dish actually appeared to be pretty big. Kind of a tall order. Because Deinonychus is often found to have hunted a much bigger dinosaur called Tenontosaurus. Actually, that's kind of neat.
Did they hunt?
That's a pattern that they always find, though, right? Like there was a large sauropod that would have been, kind of like your. I don't even know if you'd call it an alpha herbivore, but like it's your big guy in the neighborhood, and then you'd always have a relatively smaller, large carnivore that would still prey upon it.
A lot of the
I-
time, yes. Not always, though, with dinosaurs.
Right. Yeah.
I have a question for Doc. Just whenever, like, if you're done, just I have a lot of questions.
Sure.
So okay, so my first question is who, like, if if you had a T-Rex and a Triceratops fighting, who do you think would win? And is there any animal that could? Is there any other dinosaur? Like, would a Triceratops be the most dominant dinosaur in terms of fighting and being defensive? Like, is there any dinosaur besides the T-Rex that could even like have a chance against it? I guess is my question.
So
Luckily, Doc and I have an entire stream about this exact topic.
Oh, okay.
True. For the first question, though, T-Rex versus Triceratops. Sad to say, it really does depend. If it's a healthy adult Triceratops, I don't think the T-Rex would try it. But if it
Mhm.
was old and or sick
Oh,
or young, it would probably go for it. And depending on how intelligent T-Rex actually was, I would say it would stand a pretty decent chance, especially if it got it in an ambush, which it
Mhm.
seems T-Rex was an ambush hunter.
right.
As for could anything else kill a Triceratops? I mean, I would. If we're sticking to carnivores, then yeah, probably there are a few other dinosaurs that could stand a chance. But T-Rex seems to have been built to take down heavily armored, strong prey.
Yeah, Doc and I
Okay.
did a stream where we did a tier list of like who would win in a fight and ranking them all from like S tier, A tier, D tier, F tier, and we
Well, then
discussed a lot of
don't
these
spoil
matchups.
it for me then, because I now I'm interested in this. I'm intrigued. So I will look this.
It's on
stream up.
Grayson's channel.
Okay. But would any of these potential challengers to a Triceratops, would they have to attack it from the rear? Because I feel like if you're going at the front, just looking at the skull of the Triceratops and the way it's like a ball and socket joint, right? The way it's
Yeah.
mounted on the rest of its body, and it's so huge, just like the way its head is like a shield for the rest of its body. I feel like they'd have to have a strategy where they can't go from the front, I think.
I mean, I feel
sorry,
you'd want to
being
get
forced
its
stand
legs
up for a
first.
second.
Yeah, true.
Honestly, from the front, I don't think there has been anything other than maybe an ankylosaur that could take on a healthy adult Triceratops from the front.
Right. Look at those
Or
horns.
a sauropod. Yeah. Like those horns are long, they're sharp, and they're backed by 8 tons of pissed off massive herbivore.
Like quad rhino, basically. Do you have a picture of like a fossil? Like fossilized, not well,
Fossil
like
Triceratops?
a skeleton. Yeah, that's what I want to see.
I can find one in a second.
They have like a beak. That's interesting.
Yes.
A rostrum.
But they weren't birds. Do they have feathers?
They may have had quills, but not full feathers as far as we know.
Is that what's on its back? Are those quills?
In this illustration,
Yeah.
Usually
looks like it.
Usually the quills are on the tail.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are taken from a related animal. Here's the skeleton. Is the drawing okay, or do you want like a picture?
No, yeah, like one from a museum, like the T-Rex ones we were looking at.
Yep.
Are you trying to see if it has a dick bone as well?
No.
And they would have been ornithischians, so bird
Here we
hip.
go.
Wow. That is so.
Yeah, this is one at the Melbourne Museum.
So yeah, like the horn. So the horns are like built into its skull. Are
Oh
there?
yeah.
So any modern animals that have horns today, are they built into the skull like that, or is it different now?
With horns, they're usually a bony core and then a keratin sheath. And that was actually true for Triceratops as well, so the horns would have been bigger in life.
So these these horns keratin or this is bone?
These
Just
are
for
just the
the-
bone.
And so there would be keratin on top of these.
Yes, making them longer.
So they're even bigger. Okay. Wow.
Yep. And just for a size reference,
Holy shit. So that would have been like its fingernails almost. Like,
Oh, is that Apache?
yeah.
that's so cool.
I don't know what the little one next to it is.
That's
But
what
yeah,
I'm saying. Like, I
Triceratops
can't
was pretty
imagine
big.
I can't imagine anything being able to come at this from the front and not get wrecked.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you would want to
it'd be
like
risky
get its
business.
legs first. Like, because if it
Yeah.
can't turn and get that big old dangerous head at you, then you're pretty good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because it would be like, would it be like a snapping turtle almost, like with that beak?
So it'd probably try to get you with the horns first, but I wouldn't want to be bit either.
That's why I'm just asking, like, would its beak function like a snapping turtle where it would bite like that? Because I have to imagine it would have crazy bite force in its jaws. Or is it like, was it more of like it would chew with that? Like, I mean, I'm assuming it would use this to attack.
So with-
Triceratops had a 1,500 psi bite force.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that is pretty strong with the sharp beak too. Yeah, that's nasty.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm sure they would. I mean, that would be one of their main methods of attacking would be biting or even like scraping with the tip of its beak. Because
They could amputate you with that beak,
Right.
I
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty easily.
Well, like, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you've seen bison or buffalo, right? Like, I saw a video. I think it was just yesterday, and it's entirely the parents' fault. But there's these two kids hanging out the car window in one of those like safari rides where you can feed the animals. And a big old bison walks up to the car, and the kid tried to grab its horn, and it shook its head and bashed the kid right in the face with its horn. You know, and like just that least like when we did it, that thing next to my truck, I have a full size truck. I took one look at that big male standing next to my truck. I'm like, even though my truck is bigger than that guy, he could absolutely fuck my truck up if he wanted to right now.
Yeah.
I have actually a montage of videos of rhinos, hippos, and elephants and bison flipping over
Hippos.
vehicles.
Hippos are so just ridiculously scary. Like they can bite a watermelon. They can with like no problem. Like I was reading a story about somebody who got caught in a hippo's mouth and got chewed up like 6 times.
Yep.
It was horrible. But
They have
so
like
that-
2 foot long tusks. It's
Uh,
they're massive.
and if
you
you
don't wanna
don't
get-
die from your wounds, you probably get a nasty infection too.
You know, being in that fart water that
Yeah.
they live in.
But yeah, I just wanted to say, like, this skull that we were just looking at, that's mounted on like a ball and socket joint that can swivel. Very similar probably to our skulls.
And
Probably pretty fast too.
before I
And look
move
at all
away
those
from that
neck muscles too.
Before I move away from that comment,
Oh,
I
yeah.
do want to clarify that hippos do indeed cultivate an environment of fart water around them. That they were. It's actually a part of their ecology that they live in.
The muck spreading.
So, and they're
I'm glad-
destroying areas of Colombia. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm glad the people that aren't Jura in the chat appreciates my questions.
Hey, I always welcome anyone who's curious. Like, I'm always happy to answer dino questions. And if I don't know, I will admit, like, I didn't know about the bite force. Like, that's higher than I expected.
Remember when you and Grayson did that panel that you were talking about earlier, and you were arguing about whether Australopithecine could defeat Arthropleura?
Classic.
Yeah, that was fun.
Did you
so-
say 1500, Bree? That's actually the same as a jaguar.
Yeah, which is the strongest bite force of any cat living. So
Yeah,
Ooh.
jaguars are really strong.
A great white shark is 4,000. Wow.
I thought it was lower actually.
That's just what Google says. It could be slightly
Yeah.
inaccurate.
I
Sharks
guess last
have,
thing to say about Triceratops really quick. So someone brought
Those
up like
muscles.
all that meat behind the neck. Guess what part of Triceratops we seem to have a lot of T-Rex bite marks on?
right behind the neck frill.
Yeah.
Sounds
That
like they
frill,
like.
too.
It seems like they liked all that neck meat.
Yeah. I think, and this is like this is all just speculation. I would have to think that a T-Rex would only get into it with one of these if he had to, because he's not going to be hunting this for food, and he doesn't want to fight this thing unless he has to, unless they're just like seeking out fights or, like you said, ambushing. You would have to ambush it and come up from behind and go for either the legs or try to, because even like, I don't even, T-Rex can't even bite through this neck. I mean, it's like steel, it's like corded steel or cement.
Well, maybe eventually T-Rex was horrifically strong, honestly.
Wow.
Like
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
There's also another hypothesis for why we seem to have a lot of isolated Triceratops heads.
Oh.
Oh.
You just get that thing off there. Get me all the good meat.
Apparently, whoever drew that disagrees with me.
Well, no predator goes against or generally goes for the prime candidates, right? Usually it's the sick, the weak, the juveniles. Usually,
generally, yes, but T-Rex.
Mark's got a good question.
Comically overpowered. Oh, yeah. Did T-Rex have pack behavior? Can't say for certain in T-Rex. However, it does have close relatives that have been found in mass bone beds, which may be from a pack getting killed. So it's
They did have familial behaviors, didn't they?
Yes, I'm going to
don't
say
have the data
something.
on that.
Yeah, I'm going to speak with actually absolutely no qualification and just pull this out of thin air and say that T-Rex, they probably had what's the word for it, where one male has a lot of female
like a harem.
Harem.
Yeah. So, and I base this on absolutely nothing, but it sounds cool.
I mean, look, it is possible, but if I recall, there seems to be little to no sexual dimorphism known in T-Rex. You would expect there to be substantial dimorphism if it was a harem situation. You see that with a lot of reptiles.
I guess, yeah, because I feel like that's more of a mammal behavior, right? Like that's more.
No, reptiles do it too. Iguanas are pretty infamous for it.
Oh, true.
But when it comes to birds, generally you get the standard reproductive processes that you get a mating pair that takes care of at least through one season of their young. But
either that or promiscuous. There are some species.
This is what I'm wondering. Were dinosaurs horny? Were they horny?
Yes. Look, I have a friend who has a cockatiel, or a cockatoo, and that cockatoo tries to mate with her. Dinosaurs be horny.
Okay, and
I like watching the cardinals in my backyard because like you were saying about taking care of the young, Bree, I think. And like I do like watching the cardinals, but because like the original pair that came here whenever we first moved in, I'm pretty sure they're dead now, but their offspring have taken up residence in their place, and like you can watch. My daughter called them Punk and Rosie. Punk was the boy, Rosie was the girl, and and you'd watch them like they would take turns sitting on the nest and all this, and they would hatch, and the dad would basically just disappear for a while, and mom would feed them until it was time for them to leave the nest, and then dad would show up and basically like show them how to eat and fend for themselves and fly and do all this, and then
take them to the
they would
feeders and
part
things like
ways.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
It was like they instinctually knew these like different roles that they could like have or whatever, and yeah, so they would trade off like parental duties.
It's always, you see these people that like get approached by ostriches and cassowaries and stuff that are interested in mating with them. You'll see the ostriches do their sexy mating dance. It's so funny to think it's like, yeah, I want to have a nest and take care of babies for months and months with you. What do you think? We just met. It's literally we just met. But this is crazy. Here's my mating
Isn't there a
dance.
story
Let's
of a
have some
zookeeper
babies.
who was like mated with a bird at the zoo for life, and like they would
Steve
do all
Irwin.
these?
Yeah, Steve Irwin.
Did he really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was about to say.
Somebody pair bonded with what kind of bird was it?
I believe it was some kind of like large crane that like its mate died, or it refused any other kind of mate until it saw this this one guy who was a zookeeper there, and like took an immediate interest in him, and like that was her husband. And like he basically took on the role, to keep her from becoming depressed and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like he did the whole "this bird is my wife" thing.
He saw the zoo employee bending over the shorts. When birds are depressed, will they start molting?
I don't
like
know.
losing feathers.
They can lose feathers from being aggravated or
yeah. And if they have anxiety, will they
Uh-huh.
peck at and pull out their own feathers, like pulling out their own hair, like a person doing that?
Some birds do, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially in captivity.
Yeah.
Or they'll pull out each other's feathers in captivity. Even their own mates. Yeah.
Well, male birds will fight like, well, I guess it depends on the breed. Or do they? Is that true? Like, if you have them in captivity, will they fight with each other if there's a female present?
Depends on
Sometimes.
the species.
Yeah.
I couldn't own birds. Like, I don't know how you could put up with all the noise, honestly.
They're pretty cute.
Yeah, but I don't understand why people own those pet shop birds where it's the two types that look exactly the same. Like there's the green one and then the yellow and blue one.
Talking about
like they look exactly the same. Lovebirds.
Talking about budgies.
Budgies.
I don't know what they're called, but it's like I don't know why people buy those. It's like they're gonna die in like 2 months.
But they're adorable.
Budgies are cute.
They all look exactly the same though. Like they're like clones of each other. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, there's green ones and blue ones and white ones.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I know you know what I'm talking about. There's
Yeah.
this really specific, like green and yellow one, and then like it's like a light blue and yellow one that's got like black flecks on it, I think.
Yeah, but there's some with gray and other colors mixed in too. They have a little. I mean, it's like morphs of morphs of pythons, right? Different colors of budgies.
I will be hitting the play button in 10 seconds.
Did you guys own any exotic pets?
You know I own exotic pets, babe, and I grew up with lizards. Lots of lizards.
We do find some dinosaurs with preserved filaments like this Sinosauropteryx, but just because evolutionists want this to be a feather does not make it a feather.
We have seen them under microscopes. They
We
are
want
feathers.
Definitely feathers.
Yep.
I had a sugar glider and I had a chinchilla named Sebastian, and I had a couple exotic pets, but yeah.
My father was a falconer, so we always had hawks.
Oh,
He did falconry.
Awesome. Will you take me to your father's falcons?
Did he have the
so I
big
can see
glove?
them?
Yeah, he had the big glove. We usually
Is he retired?
We usually had Harris hawks.
Is he retired though?
Yeah, he doesn't have them anymore.
Oh, I missed out. So I could be like, go down to Texas and check them out.
Yeah, he
I
would
always
always
wanted-
pick me up from school with the hawk.
Like in the front seat.
Yeah, like in elementary school.
Like the hawk would be in the car.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I would have followed you to your car if we were in school together. But
Was it a convertible?
No.
That would have been cool if it was a convertible and he rolled up with like a giant falcon in the front seat. Like Grayson get in the back. Like, did he make you sit in the back seat?
Oh no, he would get out and stand by the car with the hawk. So like all the kids
Oh.
knew me as the hawk kid.
That's, that's cool.
I mean, like legit, my middle name actually is Hawk.
oh,
Grayson Hawk.
Yeah, he was
great.
very
Stephen
obsessed.
Hawking.
He was very obsessed.
Yeah, we grew up with. I had a lot of iguanas. We had a couple of Chinese water dragons.
Do it.
We had a monitor. Yep. Go ahead, play.
Some evolutionists
Sorry, it is neat. It's neat to talk about, but we are halfway through and 2.5 hours in.
even believe that these filaments were actually collagen fibers under the skin.
Evolutionists are redefining
Yes, Fiducia thinks that. Nobody else thinks that. Try again.
One
all
guy.
these terms based on assumptions in their worldview. They justify this thinking because they have a whole new way of classifying life. In science class, I learned about Linnaean classification with kingdom, phylum.
Yes, Linnaean breaks down. That's why we
There's
use it
that
as a
holding
simple
on to the
guide
old
for middle
stuff.
schoolers.
Yeah, these are just signposts now. They're not really, on the way.
Y'all
to
better not
cladistics.
let me start singing Aladdin songs because I will go off.
Okay. I wanted to talk about my iguanas.
Well, if you would stop bullying Doc and let him play the video, then we could.
Yeah.
This is a 17-minute video.
Here, how about this, Bree? At 9 minutes, we can.
No,
talk
I
about
was just
iguanas.
joking. I was just joking.
Wait, that's
Not
like
serious at all.
yeah, 9 minutes. We won't get to that for another like hour.
Well, just let it play for a little while. Like let it get a
Order,
good chunk.
family, and so on. But evolutionists have a new way of classifying life based only on supposed ancestry.
This new classification scheme is called
Incorrect. Phylogenetics is much more complicated than that.
They're so
cladistics.
stuck on it,
And
too.
instead of placing animals in different groups based on their anatomy, they try to show evolutionary connection, evolutionary.
But earlier, didn't you say that phylogenetic blah 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 whatever wasn't based on anatomy?
So
We
Interesting.
also have this thing called genetics as well.
and
Well, it's not
yeah,
based on anatomy when evolutionists do it, but when the creationists look at it, they base it on anatomy, and now it makes perfect sense. And if you don't think about it at all, it'll make sense to you too.
So it is important that we stop this much when you're covering AIG. They will copyright strike you. So
Really?
True.
Give it a solid 30 seconds. Can we do that?
Yeah.
And just
We'll see.
Or
Just hold your
relationships
comments.
between the animals. They even have a new term for each of these points along the tree called the clade. Here you can see how the clades are represented. But as the secular author mentioned in his paper, phylogenetic systematics is not theory neutral because its deep structure embodies evolutionary assumptions. Phylogenetics refer to the totality of the evolutionary history.
This new classification scheme means that a bird
They don't just come up with a new classification scheme. They actually interpolate the previous data that they had from taxonomy, right? From Linnaean taxonomy, and they incorporate that along with all the anatomical features that go along with that to build cladistics. A lot of times it confirms our assumptions, but sometimes it doesn't, and we have to reorganize things.
And they don't like
Yeah.
cladistics because it works so well in the evolutionary system. It works better than the Linnaean system, where like it takes the Linnaean system and refines it ridiculously, and it just looks and feels and works so much better.
The funny thing about the Linnaean system that they're appealing to is that, like, and Linnaeus, like, this was before evolution, like, he was a creationist, but in the Linnaean system, humans are classified as apes.
Mm-hmm. So, what did they call in the video of systematic phylogenetics?
Some weird mismatch, like
It
four
just
different
reminds
words.
it just makes me laugh because it reminds me of the very first like Kent Hovind debate he did with Aaron Ra, where he was like, "No, Aaron, it's not phylogenetic systematics; it's systematic phylogenetics." And you can just see Aaron rolling his eyes, like, "Okay, Kent."
And they keep pulling all
my
these
goodness.
phrases out of context from the abstract. It is what I'm seeing. And like, read more into the paper where they get into it and they describe everything. Like, why do you have to take something from like a really, really short, quick, hey, this is what we're about to do, and here's the questions we're going to try and answer, here's our challenges, now let's get into it.
And people are asking who the authors were. It is Daniel Brooks and E.O. Wiley. I'm not familiar with either of them.
I think you're supposed to say that, yo, Wiley, like that.
They give it
Enunciate the O.
1985?
Yeah, well, they can't have anything past the 90s, right? After Jurassic Park. No way.
Of course. Well, Daniel Brooks is apparently a professor at the University of Toronto in evolutionary biology. E.O. Wiley?
You keep saying it wrong. E.O. Wiley. It's
Wiley.
There you go. There you go. That's
If
what I'm talking
Wikipedia
about.
has the right person, he's a curator of ichthyology at the University of Kansas.
Yeah, it says
and
right
professor
here.
of systematics and evolution.
Yeah. Museum of Natural History, University of Kansas, Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah, so
Lines
sounds
up.
like two authors of evolutionary biology.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a problem with the paper, right? If AIG or anybody has a problem with paper, they can actually publish a response to this paper, right?
I'm like, I'm
On
super,
something more than just a phrase in the abstract too, right?
I'm
Like,
super thrown by this because in the upper left, this is published in Cladistics, Volume 1, Issue 1, pages 1 through 11. Like,
oh wow,
that's
An
just
intro
so
to
weird.
cladistics.
Literally the intro to cladistics. Wait, 1985? Yeah, that'd be about when it was formulated.
Is it weird because there's a lot of ones, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, college courses are set up. Yeah. Well, you
I'm
know.
At least it's not sixes, like 666.
They wouldn't be able to share that on AIG.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I just
Skip
had
those
it.
pages.
Sorry, I just had an oh shit moment. The Wiley online library, where you can find a lot of open, like a lot
one
of
of my
papers
favorites.
and stuff. E.O. Wiley, hello.
This is him.
You know, I made that connection early. I saw it. I was like, oh, like the Wiley Online Library.
Wiley.
If it is, that's pretty cool.
If you've ever watched ER, Noah Wiley, I'm just like, nobody cares. Stupid reference. Sorry.
I've
Noah
watched a few
Guy?
episodes of ER.
I'm old.
Oh wow, yeah, Cladistics the Journal, Volume 40, published in February of 2024. So yeah,
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm older than you.
But
by the
that's this month. What year were you born, Bree?
the birth of
You're gonna clock yourself.
birth of Cladistics.
I was
Wait,
born
you
in
said 89
83.
earlier, right?
Yeah.
That makes us the same age.
I was
You're
born in
34.
83.
Yeah,
I'm the
Proverbs
older
guy.
here.
Wow. I would have never guessed. Yeah, Proverbs guy is the same age, same year. I was like, oh wow, we're the same. That's weird to me. I don't know why. Proverbs guy. I thought it was weird because Proverbs guy said that the 1940s was an ideal time in America and one of the best times in America. I'm like, bitch.
Is he like into Reagan?
I mean, I don't think he knows enough about politics to appreciate Reagan, but I'm sure he would just say yes because he's not a Democrat.
I just learned that the guy that tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan, John Hinckley, was released from prison in 2022 and now has a YouTube channel that has more subs than us, where he makes music.
Oh, on the topic of 666, Ronald Reese Reagan, 6 letters in each name. Just saying.
Oh. But also, unless I misunderstood the rest of what's in here, it goes on to explain how systematics and cladistics can be done objectively. Unless I'm wildly misunderstanding it, they took the second sentence from an abstract and ignored the rest while showing the rest. I could be wrong, though.
I
wouldn't be
often
the
will
first
just
time.
read the abstract and not read the whole paper.
Classification scheme means that a
But hang on,
bird
Doc. Hang on.
is also a
I
reptile.
got to dip out. And I'll see you guys later. Wife needs me to come help her out with the baby.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
Loser.
Have a good one. We'll see you soon.
You guys, I'll be in chat, but yeah.
That was me. I'm
No
sorry.
problem.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I love you. Another one bites the dust.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh yeah, and Sydney brings up, yeah, we have T-Rex coprolites.
Coprolite.
Weight, poop
I mean,
fossil
doo-doo.
weighing
Yeah.
7
Oh, I know what I know
kilograms.
exactly what it is. And coprolite is so important, literally so important, because you can learn so much from that, like the diet, potentially, and like
Ecology.
the where the environment of where they might have lived. Fascinating topic. Seriously, though. Just saying.
Yeah, it is. And any guesses as to how we know they're T-Rex coprolites?
The size, the smell.
That's one. The other is because it's filled with chunks of bone.
Huh. Wow.
I mean, who'd have thunk?
Is it fossilized bone? Is it actually? Is it? It's preserved
fossilized
bone?
by
It would
now.
have to be fossilized, right? Okay,
Yeah,
but they can tell it's bone.
yeah.
Cool.
It's just like, oh, how do we know it's T-Rex? I don't know. What
That
else here
sounds-
eats
That
bones
sounds
that can
painful. Bone
lay out a
chunks in your poo.
17-inch poop?
Wouldn't that constipate you?
Well,
That has to hurt
keep in
coming
mind,
out.
this is a 40-foot long animal.
How big is a T-Rex butthole?
This is
I-
the
I
science that we
cannot say.
need.
You've
This
been
is
asking
the
the most
science.
out. You've been asking the most out of pocket questions, man.
Well, let's see. If the average human anus can fit a raccoon inside it, if we scale
What-
that up to an
Wait,
animal
like
wait,
a
that is
40 feet
not
long-
average.
Okay, yeah. Pause.
Have you tried, Grayson? You don't know. You might
I
be
just
above
think
average.
that is the exception. That's the top 1% that we're talking about for raccoon
Yeah.
size.
It's the
Where
anal.
did you make that up, or is like, are you trying to be funny? Like, where is this coming from?
I think that is actually true.
Which end do you start with on the raccoon? Which end do you insert? You know what? Don't answer
So
that.
the human rectum can stretch up to 9 inches without tearing, and raccoons can fit through 6-inch wide holes.
So was this a burrowing situation, or was this like I'm trying to fit a
No,
dead raccoon
no,
up there?
no. I'm ending it. Press play. Press play.
Like you oil up the raccoon, and then you oil up. Oh, you're gonna press play. Sorry, I didn't.
Even some creationists have been trapped into this type of thinking. If you take this thinking to its logical conclusion, then a human is also a fish.
You see,
Yeah.
When-
Yeah.
Yes.
Technically, you are a chordate. You are a sarcopterygian.
Personally, this is just me. I don't think it's useful for people like PZ Myers to tell creationists that humans are fish, because I just think they're never going to understand the intricacies of that statement, and they're just going to use it as like quote unquote ammo against our side. I hate to even use these terms.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean? Like,
there's
I
this
just don't
silly
think I don't
thing they
find
believe.
that to be a useful term. I would much rather explain it in a different way, saying we are fish, because then Ken Holmes just gonna like, PC Myers thinks he's a fish. Over.
Well, I mean,
Ken Holmes.
it's nested cladistics, right?
Grayson thinks he's a rat. You know,
we
but Mark
need
Reed
to-
thinks she's a Pikachu.
We need to force people to understand. Force people, yeah. We need to incorporate this. We need to incorporate nested cladistics in education to help people understand it.
I agree, but I'm saying don't go
Don't
that
start
far. Yeah, like you need to ease people in. Like you need to lube it up, like you know what?
Like a
The
raccoon.
way,
Like
the
a
way
raccoon.
that I've differentiated it is like in a cladistic sense, we may be fish, but in a colloquial sense, like when we're
Yes.
just talking to creationists, then
Yes,
we're not like fish in a colloquial sense.
exactly.
No.
I think colloquial definitions are so important, especially in science education.
Mhm.
I think it's a really important thing. Like how I think atheism, like there's so many, like the word theory has a colloquial definition or like a street definition, and then it has a definition in science. And there are so many other terms like that have a colloquial definition, and even the word atheism. Like, and you have to be aware of these things because, like, I just, you know, if you want, not that creationists are ever going to be intellectually honest, but it's like, you know, we're arguing for the people who are on the fence or whatever. So you got to speak to them in a way they can understand. That's all I'm saying. I'll get off my soapbox.
No, you're fine. But two things I want to say. First, shout out to the documentary Your Inner Fish. Really good documentary. Thank you, Neil Shubin.
Love Neil Shubin.
Shubin.
Yes.
I love Neil Shubin.
Hey, I love TikTok. I want a tattoo. And second is that this is something I really, really liked about Aaron's systematic classification of life. Where At the
Yes.
end of every video, he would just say something like, "So, do you have the backbone to admit
Yes.
you're a vertebrate?" Like he would tie it in, and you can't say no at any point. You belong to each of these groups.
Yeah, wouldn't he say like, do you have this category? Do you have this attribute? Do you have this attribute? Do you have this attribute?
Yes.
That means you're in this cat. Okay, because I did this in one of my video about Ray Comfort, because he was asking these college students, do you think you're a primate? And I was saying, well, do you have a highly developed brain? I mean, yeah, it's like the joke of course, you know, Ray Comfort doesn't, but yes, he does.
Yeah.
Do you have you know, I forgot the like opposable thumbs? Do you have I forget the like these really when you were born, did you have a placenta? Well, you might be a primate then. That makes you a primate. You might be you might be a redneck, you might be a primate. If you had a placenta when you were born and you have a highly developed brain.
Or is your body not able to synthesize vitamin C?
You might be a guinea pig. Or no, you might not be a guinea pig.
Or a cat.
Really?
Yeah, cats can't do it.
That's a funny one, asking creationists, especially like Kent Hovind, like, why is it that humans can't process vitamin C? And it'd be like, well, you know, if you read about the pirates that got scurvy, blah blah blah, it's like that's not an answer to my question.
Yeah, but yeah. Shout out to there's been a lot of really great like stuff, honestly. Like,
could you imagine the things that I could do if I processed my own vitamin C? Y'all wouldn't even believe.
Do you know how much I would get
never
done?
Have to eat
right,
lunches, I guess.
Right, babe. I get you. I know.
Can I just be like fearless and brave for a second and just make kind of an announcement? So Grayson, when he asked me if he should go to DAL, I said, "Bitch, no, don't go there." And I said at the end of last year that I was saying that people shouldn't debate Kent Hovind. I've sort of modified that to be like, I think people like I said, the Miami Heat of debating, really, Grayson and Mark Reed, people like that. If people are going to debate Kent, I want it to be like the A team, like people like that. Grayson and Mark Reed are some of the best debaters I've ever seen on YouTube, and both of you guys have improved so much in the past year. It's been incredible to watch, and just like working with You guys also Attorney Anderson. If you haven't seen his debates, incredible.
Mhm.
Like I've worked, we prepped for hours before the Kent debate. But real quick,
Yeah.
Grayson, I told Donnie today. I said, listen, I am willing to do another debate with Kent if you agree that the topic. I'll agree to the stupid topic of evidence for evolution is the topic of the debate. But if Kent Hovind wants to derail the debate and start talking about my sexuality and me being LGBT, then I get to take him to task on that, and Donnie will not step in and stop the discussion. And I said, that's fair.
Ooh.
And Donnie said that that's fair too. So that's my announcement. And I think that that's fair, you know?
Yeah,
So
that sounds like it'd be a bloodbath. Have fun.
well, I'm excited. Like my adrenaline is actually pumping right now. Because I said I wasn't going to do it again, but I think that is a good condition because he cannot resist. You know what I mean? But like, anyway, so that's I just wanted to say that. And but I would have to. I've been thinking a lot about like what's the best, and not to derail, but like I'm trying to think of strategies. Like if I did another debate with him, like how do you come at that at a novel way? You know what I mean? Because it's so kind of played out. I loved Grayson's last debate in person. So good. Like seriously, your answers were so good, Grayson. Really, like.
Thanks. And that's going to be like, regardless of the outcome of this debate you're talking about with Kent, I think that's going to make for like highly entertaining content. Like whatever happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like legitimately though, like you have improved so much over the past year, like really. And I just wanted to say that.
That's
what he's trying to say is that you used to suck, Grayson.
I know, right?
No.
But I will say I do disagree with you a bit, AJ, on on that only the best should debate Kent. I feel it's more take your time and be prepared, like prepare for it. Because I've seen a lot of new people come out of the woodwork in the last year or two to debate Kent, absolutely demolish him and leave without ever doing another debate. But they were prepared.
Do you have examples?
So should we have?
I'm bad at remembering names. I can try and find them if you want.
I just don't want to. I just don't want to see debates that suck against Kent. That's all.
What about like a Mark Reed debate dojo, the Discord server where everybody y'all can train the next generation.
That's
Ember wanted to set that up. It never
debate
did get set up.
dojo.
I don't know why Aunt Jers is talking about me proposing to Grayson. That is, I was going to say it's homophobic, but I have said in multiple streams that I think Grayson is a very handsome person.
True.
See, Bree agrees with me. But that's
I
just,
also agree with you.
You have gorgeous eyes, sweetie. I love your eyes, Grayson.
I saw this movie with Michael Fassbender, and I noticed that he was better looking than Danny DeVito. You know what I mean? Like, it's like.
Now I disagree.
Oh, fair enough. I was telling Bree, somebody did tell me in my live chat that I look like the Penguin, or that I'm starting to look like the Penguin from Batman Returns.
Hey, Colin Farrell is a handsome man as well. Okay,
that's the same thing. Like, no, the Danny DeVito
like
one. I'm like, no.
Verbatim though. The
So
exact same
what
thing.
AJ is trying to say, Grayson, is that on a scale of 1 to 10, you're at least a 2.
I'll take it.
That was just mean.
Oh, this has been fun. This is fun.
When you change the meanings of words just to fit an evolutionary worldview, you have a big problem because none of the data has changed.
Sleight of hand.
Except all of the data has changed since 1980 frickin' 5.
True.
Well, we knew evolution was right back then, and that hasn't changed, though.
Wait, Grayson, what about lasagna noodles? Sorry, don't get triggered by that.
Do lasagna even count as noodles?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're flat noodles.
Yeah, but they're like a plate. Isn't that more like a plate of dough?
No, it's a noodle. It's a
No, you have to
thick,
cook it.
Really wide,
It's a
really
flat,
wide noodle.
because a noodle is just you combine like egg and crumbs of breadcrumbs, and you mix it together into a dough, and then whatever shape you make that dough into, it's just the different types of pasta, but it's all noodles, you know.
Fair.
No, I'm
Well,
getting
it's how
hungry.
you
Yes,
prepare it too. It has to be. It has to be dried, and then then you have to boil it for it to be or for it to be noodles, right?
I don't know.
Do you have to boil it for them to count as noodles? No.
No.
No, they're still noodles even when they're non-cooked. I don't know. Grayson, we
Yeah.
need to get Russell in here. He is the authority on noodles, and he could tell us. He can also tell us about temperature, and he can explain it. And it'll only take him 35 minutes to explain, to make his point. So
I don't think any of the people watching here showed up to listen here. Let's talk about noodles tonight, though.
Did they for all the other tangents?
Probably not.
To answer,
Like, I don't know why
I
people
realized
come here,
that.
but
I realized that like about 30 seconds ago. Answer. Just, I actually am gonna have to jump out, guys, because I am going to do a talk with Attorney Anderson in an offline chat. So
okay,
I'm actually going to be talking with him about this potential Hovind debate. So, you know,
well,
I guess look forward to that. I guess
he wants to talk with me sometime too. I need to set that
dude,
up.
I highly recommend it. Seriously, if you haven't seen the video on my channel, Attorney Anderson takes Ken Hovind's lunch money. Seriously,
I saw one of their. Didn't they have like 2 debates so far?
Yes, but that clip is absolutely the highlight of that whole second debate, because honestly, that second debate is very hard to watch. But that clip is literally the best part. So just watch that if you haven't seen it. And,
sure. He takes Kent's lunch money? Let me just go ahead and
Doc,
pull it
thank
in
you so
another
much
tab.
for answering my weird questions, Doc. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome anytime, man.
Okay. Well, I will see you bitches.
Peace out, AJ.
Bye. He dipped mid-sentence. What's that about?
It's all right. But that said, we lost another person. Maybe we can go a little fast. Well, I want to say a little faster. I do need to critique this card now, though.
We are back to where we were.
Yeah. That sauropod, that hasn't been updated since 85. And neither has that Stegosaurus. I can't really tell the Triceratops. Actually, I can. I can see the spine. The spine's wrong. And I can't tell
his fingers are his fingers are over the theropod.
Yeah.
I thought it looked like a Ceratosaurus. It's the T-Rex. I thought I could see a horn.
Stiff hand trickery.
Oh, it's a T-Rex.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the Sioux.
Yeah, it's not a bad T-Rex.
Yeah, because they stole it. But yeah, 3 out of 4 of the non-avian dinosaurs haven't been updated since the 80s. Try better.
Trickery can't disprove the truth. And the truth is that the idea of feathered dinosaurs is just a house of cards built on assumptions and wordplay. If any one of those assumptions or definitions are built in the wrong way of thinking, evolutionary ideas, as we've shown, then the whole house of cards falls.
You have not substantiated that at all, sir. Quit looking so smug.
3, 2, 1.
Wow.
Okay.
They really
now we
got
can get
us
down to the
there,
business.
Yeah. Oh, I think they're about to get to their 3 ways now. How exciting. The thing they teased in minute 2.
Of showing what these animals actually were. We said there were 3 ways to know if an animal is a bird. But is that really necessary? You guys are smart. You can probably tell the difference between a dinosaur and a bird. So what do you think this is? That looks like a dinosaur, doesn't it? How about this one? Bird or dinosaur? This one looks like a bird. There's just one problem. Those two drawings are based on the same skeleton, just posed differently.
Trickery.
Same bones, just posed differently.
They also
One pose
drew
makes it look
a
more like a
bird
dinosaur.
on top of one of them.
Yeah, kind of weird how that helps.
And drew like a 1980s Compsognathus on the other one.
Yeah.
The other pose makes it more like a bird. See, we have to be careful with drawings because they can be used to make an animal look like a dinosaur.
Oh, you mean when you pose the thing, how it would actually stand, it looks different. Yeah, it does.
Would they have, when they were moving, would they have had their arms out like this, or would they have held them up to their side like modern birds do?
Probably would have held them up close to the body.
Maybe
it's a bit hard to say.
lifting
There's
them
no
out,
modern analog.
lifted them out to balance themselves while running, like
Maybe.
maybe flare their arms out this way and that way as they make tight turns, or even maybe throw up signals with their arms to other members of their species.
I mean, potentially. The sad thing is we can only get so much from bones, even when they're preserved in a beautiful way.
I mean, I'm just talking like nothing fancy. I'm talking about like a white-tailed deer lifted its tail up and there's white underneath, that maybe they had discoloration underneath their feathers, or underneath their on the underside, that they could flap their wing up and show as a signal.
Definitely possible, but I can't say for sure.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to draw it like that in paleo art, I'd say go for it. It's definitely possible.
Dinosaur, or look like a bird, or even look like a missing link. Now let's talk about those 3 ways to tell a bird from a dinosaur. Now remember, we're using the classic definitions of bird and dinosaur without evolutionary ideas behind them. We're going to try to make it easier to remember. So here we go. Feathered wings, swivel wrist, tiny tail bird, scaly skin, straight wrist, big tail dino.
Okay. So we have our criteria.
Feathered wings,
swivel wrists,
tiny tail,
or
is
scaly
a bird,
straight wrist, and big tail. What do you mean by a straight wrist?
What do you mean by swivel wrist?
Quantify big and small.
I mean, there are birds with big tails and with like scaly skin, especially around their legs. So,
Oh wow, almost like these differentiations don't really freaking work.
Wait. That was really fast. Let's break this down, okay?
All right. The first thing to look for is feathered wings. We saw these feathers earlier in Archaeopteryx. They're found in other fossils like Microraptor and Caudipteryx, the fossils we looked at earlier. These aren't just feathers randomly attached to the body. They're fully formed wing.
Sorry, just
sorry, what, Doc? Are you muted yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, while he figures that out, do you think that this is an AIG figure, or they got this from like an actual real publication somewhere?
I actually think this looks like it's probably from some college coursework. Just looking at it, but especially because I don't think AIG would draw them as analogous as they are here.
I mean, who knows? And sorry, I had to tell Kiki good night. She's heading off to bed.
Night, Kiki.
Bree says good night. Don't know if you heard that.
I heard her, yeah.
But
so we
I don't
were
know.
talking about para-aves earlier.
Indistinguishable.
Oh, sorry, I was seeing if they showed a source.
Yeah, we're talking about para-aves earlier, and that's probably something we need to to pinpoint here. Is Caudipteryx paraaves?
I think it's a parave.
Yeah. It's in
Let me
flightless birds.
see.
Colombian. So is this about feather formation and finger placement?
Not sure, but it is in Oviraptorosaurs, so it's part of Maniraptora.
Okay.
Dude. The finger bone of the dove just looks weird. How they kind of like, I guess they're filling it in with feathers there. Is that the gray? I can't really tell.
Yeah.
That's the Alula. It's called the bastard wing.
Because it stands solo up there.
Yeah. It helps with the aerodynamics.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Microraptor would have had something similar.
Yeah. Although honestly, go back. I'd have to look for an older video of theirs, but I bet if you go back 10 years, they wouldn't say anything like this.
Well, they have to keep recalibrating, right?
Yeah, but the word of God never changes.
From modern birds.
If you look at all the animals found with feathers, we can see that they're all inside one group. The name of this group is called Maniraptora, and feathers do not occur outside that group.
Okay, you're wrong. You are so freaking wrong.
Don't Orniths mimids and Deinocheirus specifically have feathers?
Let's see. So I'm gonna go through these. Yes. Not sure. Yes. Also yes. 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 I believe so, but I could be wrong. No. Possibly. No.
No.
I
don't know.
Possibly. No question mark and no.
But you see, dog, you're redefining what a feather is to fit your evolutionary assumptions.
No, I know what a freaking feather is. Let's see. Can I name the examples? Let's see. Therizinosauridae. Was it? Oh, it was just featured in a dino game I play. Therizino. Bapiosaurus. A feather. Yep, Bapiosaurus. Therizinosaur with feathers. Let's see, Alverasaur. Feather? Alverasaurus, feathers. Okay. Dinocheiridae. Feather? Not sure. Not sure about Dinocheirids. Ornithomimids definitely had feathers. We have exquisite feathers. I believe Ornithomimus itself? Yep, Ornithomimus. We got Ornithomimus feathers. Compsognathidae, yes, we have that in Sinosauropteryx. Tyrannosauridae, we have that in Dylon and Eutyrannus. I could be wrong. I think Dylon is a Proceratosaur. Like Proceratosaurs and Tyrannosaurids, that's the same group, you just split it for some reason. Yeah, so they have feathers too. No Dilophosaurids. We have a resting trace so like where a dinosaur was sleeping or sitting on the ground, from a rock formation the same age and place as Dilophosaurus, where there are feather impressions around where the arms are. Yeah, then I'm not sure for the others. But yeah, a lot of these non-birds have feathers. A lot of them. Dilong, Berryvasal, Tyrannosaur, like Guanlong. But I think it's still in the Proceratosaurs, because Proceratosaurs are Tyrannosauroids. Pan Tyrannosauridae. Yeah, it's in Pan Tyrannosauridae, which does that include Proceratosauridae? Proceratosaurs. Does it include Dilong? I'm not sure if it includes Dilong, but Proceratosaurs do include Eutyrannus, which definitely has feathers. So, still Proceratosaurids have feathers, even if Dilong isn't among them. I apologize for that. Tyrannosaur taxonomy is interesting. It's interesting. But yeah, so many feathers. Three reasons dinos are not old. Ooh, sounds fun. If you have any questions, sorry, blanking on your name, but Captive Desk, is it Dave? Captive.
Yep.
If you, huh?
I said, yep.
Okay, Dave. If you have any questions, feel free to pop on. I'm happy to answer if I can. But yeah, point is, this graphic is BS. Sorry, long way of
Only
saying
from-
it.
Definitely.
That does not mean that all the animals in that group are definitely birds, and not all are found with feathers, but it's a good starting point. Several Maniraptor fossils even show soft tissue around the feathers called patagia. This is only found on birds' wings.
No, soft tissue like that is found with a lot of animals, including many mammals. Patagia. Bop. Yep. From Wikipedia. So are flying squirrels and bats birds because they have a patagium? How about dromaeosaur or how about pterosaurs?
I wish I had a patagium.
How about
Doesn't
flying
the-
lizards?
Doesn't the
Flying
Bible
frogs.
actually imply that bats are birds at one point?
I think they do, because doesn't the Bible classify animals according to what they do?
There's the creeping kind.
True. Oh, so I guess so then what the hell are flying frogs? Are they creeping or flying kinds?
Those are birds, buddy. Day 5.
Ugh, these people suck.
That's a day 5 creation right there.
With what we see today. So the first of our 3 criteria to tell a bird from a dinosaur is birds have feathers. Dinosaurs don't have feathers. Dino fuzz doesn't count.
According to you, but no, Dino Fuzz does count.
I like how they
Let me see.
conveniently are like ignoring beaks for their criteria here.
Yeah, I wonder if that's been a thing in the past. Weird.
It's
So-
almost like if you include beaks in what makes a bird, then like suddenly all of their their little like Archaeopteryx and that just kind of falls apart.
I mean, turtles have beaks, right?
Yes. The beaks have evolved independently. Well, if you believe in evolution, have evolved independently in many lineages.
Yeah. Are there any mammals that you can think of off the top of your head with beaks? I guess a platypus kind of has a beak.
It's not a
echidna-
Platypus, but
echidna.
it's different. It's not a
Is
it's
it-
not a beak like you think.
Is a duck's bill a beak?
I can think of some mammal adjacent creatures that have beaks, but
Like-
I'm talking about like
Yes.
dicynodonts.
Yeah.
Hey,
There you go.
you thought. So actually, curious. Why did you think of those? Because I know why I thought of those. Why did you think of those?
Because I'm a fan of basal synapsids. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair. I'm working on a review of Walking with Dinosaurs, so I've had to read a crap ton about dicynodonts.
Well, I mean, I am working on a video of like lesser known transitional fossils, and I will be bringing up some basal synapsids in that video. So,
Oh, fun. Okay, cat, what? Fuck. Hey, no, don't go in the bag. My cat's trying to dig into a paper bag.
we heard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you didn't
look.
mute.
Close-up pictures of Sinosauropteryx showing feathers. Bach.
Hey, I'm actually gonna have to go here as well, but this was a fun stream. I was hoping I'd be able to finish the video with y'all, but we didn't quite make it.
12
Sorry,
minutes with
that's
17,
fair.
yeah.
But yeah, one final plug, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know
go ahead.
if anybody listening is not subscribed, but I'm at 1,499 subs right now. So if any of you are not subscribing, please yeah, give me a sub, help me get to 1.5k. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I already just said I was gonna be coming out with that lesser known transitional fossils video soon. So if that sounds cool to you, check out my channel Based Theory. And yeah, thanks guys for having me on, because this was like I've been wanting to dig my teeth into this video since I saw it, and just like got me twisted.
Sorry,
Oh, I'm at 1,500 subs. Heck yeah, you guys are all
Hey!
awesome.
Good job.
Go, Grayson. You now have another celebration stream, babe. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I just did one like 3 weeks ago.
hey, we're streaming and I'm celebrating now. So thank you guys, everybody, for being here, for being part of this milestone. That's super awesome, and I love everybody listening and on the panel as well.
All right. Well, before you go, one, if you want a hand with that transitional fossil video, you know where to find me. Two, congrats. Three, if there are any other videos like this you'd want to cover, I'd be happy to make next week's theater just you and me, so we can cut through it if you want.
Hey, thanks, Doc. I appreciate that on both fronts. So yeah, we'll be in touch in the DMs.
Sounds good. See you later, man. Have a good
Yeah,
night.
peace out. I'm gonna be
Grayson.
watching the rest of this later. So peace.
Sounds good. Und dann da was drei. That was bad German.
Yeah.
Also, Bach is now sitting in the bag. I guess he's happy.
Content, finally.
Oh well, let's finish her up before one of us passes out. Thank you.
Do it.
With me, Bree.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
The second thing to look for is a swivel wrist.
The idea of birds evolving from dinosaurs was even being pushed heavily back in the 90s with the original Jurassic Park movie.
All of these animals found with feathers have a special half-moon shaped bone.
Okay, you can at least say what it is. So they're talking about the semi-lunate carpal bone, which, as they say, is a bone in the wrist that looks like a half moon. Let's see if they are right in saying it is only in these animals. Okay, so here's from a paper. The semilunate carpal bone is this kind of yellowish green bone they're highlighting here. So we have a chicken, Archaeorhynchus, which I'm not familiar with, Sapiornis, all of these in aves. Then we go down a bit. Okay, we have Deinonychus, that's in their list. Con, that's an Oviraptorosaur, also in their list. Falcarius has them split apart, but they're there. And if I recall, that's a Therizinosaur. And then we have Huagianathus, which I'm not familiar with off the top of my head. We have Guanlong, which is missing it completely. That's a Tyrannosaurid. Allosaurus, which has them separated again. And then we have Coelophysis, which has a semilunate carpal bone. That wasn't on their list.
You talking about the distilled carpal one?
The semilunate. So the yellow
Oh, okay.
green.
I see.
Yeah, I think it's a specific fusion of a couple of the carpal bones that it helps them swivel their wrists in a certain
I see I see them independently on the Heterodontosaurus. You can see them not fused. So yeah,
it's just and Coelophysis here has a semilunate carpal bone. That's weird. They didn't seem to think it was that wasn't a bird. Let's see if I can find a good list of it. List of animals that have it. Figures. View an article. So this is from a different paper. So these are all semilunate carpal bones from different dinosaurs. They do seem to disagree with that previous paper. So we have a basal tetanurin. So that's a very, very basic dinosaur with a theropod dinosaur with a stiff tail. Then we have Guanlong. So that's a tyrannosauroid. You have an alvarezsaur, a therizinosaur, and a dromaeosaur. So now we have a tyrannosaur and a basal tetanurin with semilunate carpal bones. And I don't think they'd call Guanlong a bird. Yeah, I don't think they'd call this thing a bird. Just interesting. These freaking people.
right.
Wikipedia says Huagianathus is a compsognathid. Oh!
Say that 5 times fast.
Huagianathus, 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 Huagianathus.
Huagianathus was a Compsognathus.
That's too complicated.
In their wrist that
Point is
enable
they're
it to swivel.
wrong.
Archaeopteryx, Microraptor, and Caudipteryx all have this special bone. This bone is also consistently found in many animals in the Maniraptor group, but not.
Wait. I have to check something. Do you have it? So, you want to guess another theropod dinosaur that has a semi-lunate carpal bone?
Do I want to guess?
Just a random guess for another theropod.
Let's see. I want to think it's probably a Maniraptoran. A Microraptor? No?
Nope.
Okay. It's not a Maniraptoran? Okay, so we're going to go back then. What about like a Coelophysis?
Not that far back.
Allosaurus?
Less basal.
Just tell me. I'm going to keep guessing all night.
Yeah, that's fair. So it turns out Tyrannosaurus Rex has a semi-lunate carpal bone.
Interesting. Tiny little T-Rex, huh?
Tyrannosaurus Rex has
It's a bird.
semi-lunate carpal bone. It's a bird.
So it had flight feathers too then, huh?
Seems like it. Oh man. I just had to look that up. And what do you know? There it is.
Not outside that group.
This special wrist
I'm
bone
going nuts.
is what we find in living bird wrists, especially in juvenile birds. A bird's wrist is very unique because it allows the wing to fold against the body. If you hold your wrist up straight and try to bend it sideways, it doesn't go very far. But these special wrist bones allow a bird's wrist to swivel so they can open and close their wing.
Correct. And that specific joint is very common amongst all theropods. How weird is that? And I guess I gotta make sure I'm not wrong. Just trying to make sure it is only theropods, because it'd be crazy if, I don't know, Triceratops had one.
Like other outside of theropod, we're probably going to be. Wouldn't you want to look more in something like a hadrosaur?
Possibly.
Just try to think outside the box. Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, is this a paper that? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Oh. Well, I can't get access to the full. Can't get access to the full paper, sadly. But, at least according to Wikipedia, this article describes a semi-lunate carpal bone in Acrocanthosaurus. That's a derived allosauroid, if that's true. So I guess that means Allosaurus is a bird.
Yeah, there's lots of giant theropod birds running around that I didn't even know, with teeth, with great big teeth too. Some of
Big
the biggest
railroad
teeth.
spikes for a face.
Yeah. But that's a bird for you. So
You see, Allosaurus wrist bones are very different and bend in the opposite direction. Evolutionists have a big problem
Not
here
quite.
because they have no mechanism to explain how a dinosaur wrist could turn into a bird wrist.
Bones fuse. We see intermediate stages of this. It's really easy to tell. Bree, have you ever met someone who had, say, an extra flexible thumb joint? Or like an extra flexible
Yes.
thumb where they could bend the end of their thumb?
Yeah, I've seen some pretty weird, dumb stuff.
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah.
If you look at your thumb, the second flexible bit is actually two fused together. But in some humans, that's just the joint.
It's not fused. Interesting.
It can not be fused. Really interesting. Apparently Tell Me More has the paper. Sorry, I don't want to dive into another paper, but if you could just control F for lunate, see if it pops up, it'll talk about the semi-lunate carpal bone, or just carpal, if you're willing to go through that, Rodney. Otherwise, yeah, sure. Feel free to send it to me on Discord. I can look through it when I got a quiet moment here.
Wrist. The special wrist supposedly evolved before birds could even fly, but a swivel wrist and feathered fingers actually make it harder for these animals to capture food with their arms.
The second bird
Not as much as you'd think. Depends on how you use them.
criteria lines up with the first and is present on the same group of animals, the one that we mentioned before, Maniraptoran group. If a fossil is found with feathers and a swivel wrist, it was a bird.
The third criteria
Okay, we have a compsognathid with both of those. I guess that compsognathid's a bird.
is a tiny tail. Living birds have a really tiny tail. That's because the last several vertebrae fuse together into something called a pygostyle. Dinosaurs, on the other hand, have a huge muscular tail that help them stay balanced. Animals like Archaeopteryx, Microraptor, and Caudipteryx looked a little different than living birds, but their tails were still.
Okay, now hear me out. Sinosauropteryx here looks a lot like Microraptor up here. Like, a lot of Maniraptorans had big, thick tails. Or if not thick, at least long tails. Like a lot of them. And a lot of other dinosaurs didn't. If
You
this
notice
is your...
that they.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you notice they don't put a lot of. There's not like a lot of other like dromaeosaurs, for instance, on this list to show that that other Maniraptorans have big beefy tails and feathery feathered winged arms too.
Mm-hmm. But
Those
you know,
aren't
if you
mutually
want to go
exclusive.
if you want to go with a small wimpy tail, well, I guess Triceratops is a bird again. Yes, Andrew, I think that is what they're saying. Which a Tyrannosaurus has fused tail vertebrae, but whatever, it's a Neuron.
Were still way shorter and thinner than dinosaur tails.
The tails of these extinct birds were around 30 vertebrae or shorter. Peter Wonalfer, in his book on Archaeopteryx, says that coleosaurs, which means like dinosaurs, have around 30 to 40.
First off, Coelurosaurs, but whatever. Yeah, reduce the number of tail vertebrae. Yes, that
A tail
happens.
vertebrae.
That is an extremely variable trait.
Some of them had fused or partially fused pygostyle, but some of them, like Archaeopteryx and Microraptor, had an infused pygostyle that was stiffed, so it still could have act like a bird's tail.
This short tail is a very...
Oh, Andrew, you must have missed it. They already said all Maniraptorans are birds. They put a question mark on Therizinosaurs, but that doesn't help them much.
very important part of a bird's anatomy because birds walk very differently from dinosaurs. Dinosaurs move their leg from the hip. Their heavy tails keep them balanced.
Yeah, but if you put a plunger on a chicken's butt, it changes the way it walks.
Yeah, really weird.
They've done that experiment.
Yeah.
If you count,
I bet I can.
Yeah, you probably find the video. Let me look for it.
Already got it.
Okay, good.
Yep, here we go. So
Control
chicken
subject.
walking. Uh-huh. Oh, it move like a dinosaur.
Dino chicken.
Yeah, how odd. You're saying animals with different body plans move differently? How weird is that? Also, if you're more familiar with their anatomy, a lot of dinosaurs do indeed have muscles going from the femur to the tail. I believe it's called the caudifemoralis longus. Could be wrong on that. But anyway, it goes usually from about here to here, right? But with some dinosaurs, it's closer and closer to the hips, and closer to the hips, depending on the dinosaur. There's a lot of variation because there's a lot of different dinosaurs. And in a lot more bird-like ones, it's right up here. And then the rest of the tail is just a big stiff rod or something like that. Allosaurus, which is probably the basis for this, is way more basal. There's a lot better examples you could use. Like basal tyrannosauroids, weirdly enough. Or compsognathids.
Yeah.
Like if you actually look at the muscle attachment sites, it's not a big leap. Especially since birds have fused all of these vertebrae into one chunk anyway.
So while we got this pulled up here, will you do me a favor and just trace with your mouse where the meat of the tail is going? Because I think a lot of people underestimate how thick that tail is going to be.
Let's see. Starting from around here. Keep in mind my anatomy is not always the greatest. And then coming back around.
That's a big meaty tail.
Yeah, there is a lot of meat there. I'm not discounting that, but like most of the meat is right up here to pull that femur
and
back.
the hips. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not easy to change your posture and, like tilt this back more than normal. Just tilt your whole body back, and you don't need as much space to pull the same.
On their tail and on the thigh bone to move their big bodies. Bird legs are more crouched, and they move their legs from the knee and balance at the knee, not the hip.
Yes, almost like these are just rotated back because they have a slightly different posture. Mobile animals move.
Birds don't have a big muscle attachments on the tail.
Oh, hey, look, it's the exact same arrangement. Just tilted. How weird. And Rodney, I'll put in the chat. So control F that if you could, please, Rodney. What's in the quotes? Lunate.
You got me for about 15 more minutes, sweetie. I'm gonna crash.
Oh, we got a minute. We got a minute left.
Tail or the thigh bone
left.
Because they don't need them.
Yeah.
They have a tiny muscle that helps move the tail.
This third criteria lines up with the first two. This bird tail is present in Archaeopteryx, Microraptor, Caudipteryx, and other maniraptors.
Weird. You see a gradient here. Tilting back, muscle smaller. Tilting back, muscle smaller. It's so weird.
These features
How?
create another big problem for evolutionists.
So crazy. So crazy.
Somehow, dinosaurs evolve a completely different.
Oh, also, what they don't show here, you have an apex predator here that would have weighed between 1.5 to 2 tons. I don't know, like maybe a 2-pound ball of fluff, and then a
Perching. They're all.
5-6-pound ball of fluff.
Mhm.
Like, I think an animal that is 3 orders of magnitude bigger might have a few differences. Oh, and Rodney found semi-lunate, so I guess Acrocanthosaurus has that bone. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you.
From way to walk with a very different tail, leg, hip, and
Anyway, yeah, not only is this 3 orders of magnitude more massive than these two, I think a smaller animal might need smaller muscles relative to its body size. Like, what does an ostrich look like? Oh, wow. An ostrich is much more beefy. How weird. It's really weird.
Well, I mean, ostriches are weird.
True. But those muscles are way more beefy than you see here in the chicken and microraptor.
Yeah.
Because it's a much bigger animal.
It's got a counterbalance.
And I think they consider this a bird.
and muscle structure. And these dozens of change would have been detrimental to the animal until they could all work together. That's
Correct.
it. We now have 3 criteria that work to tell the difference between dinosaurs and birds.
Feathered wings, swivel wrist, tiny tail, bird. Scaly skin, straight wrist, big tail, dino.
These 3 criteria work. Even some evolutionists agree that these supposed feathered dinosaurs were just birds.
Here you can see all of the supposed dinosaurs found with feathers. We can see that most of them were the size of a turkey or smaller. These drawings show them posed like dinosaurs. But if we take away the body outline and repose them more accurately like birds, we can see they're all just birds.
So this video came out, was it last week? 3 days ago. That is nowhere near all of the dinosaurs found with feathers. Nowhere near. 2, you went from an older reconstruction to actually a more modern reconstruction. Things look different when you do that.
Right.
Especially since a lot of these, like, it's a common convention to draw the animal like they're moving, especially in a full sprint, since the publishing of Deinonychus, actually. And also because it's usually a better way to show off the anatomy. Whereas when they redraw them, and they get to that, they remove the outline. Whereas when they redraw them, they're standing still. They're going to have a much different posture when they're standing versus when they're sprinting. Kind of weird.
Well, and at rest, there's a difference between the habitat of some of these animals and the way that they're going to stand at rest. The animals that are arboreal are going to keep their limbs tucked up next to them because they're going to be prepared to leap from branch to branch.
True. Probably in a more upright posture to make it easier to balance too.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like different adaptations can occur in tandem and all benefit the organism. Oh, hey Beamsy, we're just wrapping up.
I saw you were actually deciding on what's for dinner tonight.
Oh yeah, we got a lot on the menu. I think I'm about hungry enough for Kai Hong, maybe.
Just as long as you stay away from a turducken.
They have just been mislabeled by evolutionists because a fairy tale about the past.
Once you see them with flesh and feathers, you can see that God created these animals as birds on day 5 of creation week, before dinosaurs even exist. Building our thinking on the Bible is building on the rock instead of on a house of cards.
Feathered wings, swivel wrist, tiny tail bird. Scaly skin, straight wrist, big tail dino. We've been working on this for 3 years, and we've got so much more we could say about dinosaurs and birds.
So if you want to see more, comment, like, and share.
No.
But what would you
3
call...
years and this is all you've got? Wow.
What would you call 4 tiny wings, decent sized tail scales?
Is I'm just needing some clarification. Is a pangolin a dinosaur, or what's up with that?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I did notice particularly that they never even brought up 4 tiny wings, a long-tailed feather, and scales with claws.
Well, they did bring up Microraptor, but they did not focus on that. No, they did not.
I wonder why.
No. Tetropteryx is an interesting dino. Oh, sorry, I mean bird. Yeah, they can call them tiny tails, Andrew, because they don't have standards. It's whatever suits them in the moment. They contradicted themselves in this video that they spent 3 years working on. Like it is embarrassing, honestly, especially for someone who claims to have a degree in paleontology.
They might have a degree, but it really depends on how much they want to use it. Like,
That's why I said claims.
Mm.
But with that though, we should probably get to wrapping up. Thank you for joining, Bree. Really, thank you. You
Yeah,
have fun?
through the whole thing, I stuck with it. Woo!
We'll
made
try
it.
to be more concise next time. Maybe.
No way! This was too much fun.
Well, if Grayson is interested in doing just one with me and him, then it will probably be more concise. But the next one after that, who knows?
Try and limit it to 3 people, including yourself. That way it doesn't go on such a tangent.
Yeah, maybe. It depends. We did get on some fun tangents, and it sounds like I managed to answer a bunch of questions AJ had, so I'm happy with that.
I know, I had it running in the background while I was dealing with the issues that I had to deal with.
You doing all right?
Someone was yelling at me. I had to actually see if I could get to a tangent point, and now they're very upset with me because they can't disagree with me.
Is this an online thing, or are you arguing with your housekeeper?
No, neither. It was actually a real life thing, but it's someone else that decided that they wanted to actually stick their nose in my business.
I see. Well,
I've got nothing about tangentials, especially considering that I'm now doing a degree in astrophysics. We need to know tangents.
Did you seriously start a degree in astrophysics?
Yes.
A frickin' course.
What?
Actually went through with it.
I've only been doing it for a week. Why do you think I've been gone for so long, and why I'll still be gone for a
I thought you said you lost power.
That too. But that was only for 3 days.
Yeah, fair.
I've just been busy with that.
Well, shoot. I mean, good luck to you. No, I can't stop you. I am ready for bed. I'm going to have a snack, brush my teeth, and go to bed. Anyway, to all the people out there on the internets, thank you for joining. We had a bunch of people on who all have their own channels. I'll just go ahead and list them if you're interested. First, there's me. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this tangent-filled wonderland. We have the wonderful Bree, who's been with me the whole time, at HiveSci. Bree, are you covering anything neat soon?
I don't have next week's lineup prepared just yet, but 9:30 Saturday, 9:30 Central, Saturday morning, come hang out. We'll do something fun.
Yeah, I can probably make that. Sounds fun. Let's see, we also had Grayson on. Grayson of Base Theory. Sounds like he's working on a few neat things, so should be fun. We had AJ. He's always up to something, so feel free to go check him out, Atheist Junior. And we had Rodney on. Wow, my brain. Tell me more. Tell me more with an exclamation mark. He's been in the chat all night, so you'll probably see him. But yeah, make sure to check these folks out. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good evening, folks, or day, wherever you be. See you soon.